Oh, why was it on? Are our microphones working?
Hello?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh, okay, they are. Cool.
Are you sure?
I'm paranoid now. Microphones have been a problem for us for 4 years.
It's been too many times.
Yeah.
Also, the reason it was on Sophie is because...
Oh, yeah. Really quickly, you know.
So you forgot? Okay.
What? Silence.
Sorry.
Anyway, I was informed, which camera am I on? That camera, okay. I was informed that last week when I wasn't here because I was slaving away writing for you people.
What do you mean by you people?
Okay. You know what? Just
Sorry. It was reflex.
of course. Are you sure? Okay. I was informed that while I was slaving away in the dungeon to bring you guys a script, there was some concern that we have not been treating our intern very well, and that, you know, perhaps we were just mocking her for content, you know, making a lot of jokes, and that she is basically paid to be a punching bag. And while we could tell you that's not true, we think you would benefit more from hearing it from her. So Sophie has prepared a statement under no duress whatsoever to confirm that she is being treated well here. Sophie?
Hi, my name's Sophie. I would like to confirm that I am not being treated as a human punching bag for content. And I am perfectly happy here at the Lore Lodge. Thank you.
Okay, and just in case anybody thought that that she might be giving signals, she doesn't even know Morse code, I think. Probably. Do you know Morse code?
Oh, what
Yeah,
do
see?
you think?
Yeah, I assumed. But yeah, so see, everything's good.
Such a weird angle to cut to for me. I accidentally mixed up the two inputs, so I have
Happens to me all the time.
you're in my
What?
Wow.
I have our cameras switched on the board, unfortunately, so I meant to cut to you instinctively.
You cut to yourself.
And I was just like,
All right. Whew. Well, anyway, in other news, before we get into the meat of the program today, which is that in a couple of weeks, I'll tell you this much. I don't know exactly how many weeks because we're kind of ahead right now, and that's a weird thing for me. But we will be putting out a video very soon going into why David Politis is lying about missing 411. It took us a while to come around to that conclusion that it's definitively that he's being dishonest, but we have finally come to that point. D. Richards, if you're watching, you are vindicated. You've been telling us this for 4 years. In fact, you're getting a shout out in the video. I put together a video just going through all of the ways in which you can prove that missing 411 is... The thesis of the video is that missing 411 is a lie meant to sell you on Bigfoot. And I think I supported that very well in what you're going to see. Is that... It's not next week. This week is Skinwalkers. They're getting a video on Skinwalkers on Friday, right?
guys, we have never been this prepared before in terms of video content.
It's weird.
Like, the reason that we're getting ahead is because we're going to Yellowstone, and God knows if we're going to stay ahead by the time we get back.
Yeah.
But we have never planned out so many videos and their topics this far in advance. The furthest we've ever gotten is a month.
Yeah.
We are now basically 2 months locked in on what we're doing, and we're also a week ahead in scheduling.
And to be fair, there will be a couple of supercuts in there.
There will, yeah. You guys are going to be getting a full Dyatlov Pass video. All 3 videos are going to be combined into one. And we're planning on doing the Great Smokies cluster. I might call an audible and do one of the other missing 411 clusters just because the Great Smokies is so big. Depends on how... There's like... There are nearing double digits videos for that as opposed to some of our other clusters, which are...
I thought that would kind of be...
Yes.
The dream.
Yes. But considering...
Especially for the people who watch our stuff to fall asleep.
Yes. The only thing is that I need to get it done before July 24th, along with like 5 other videos.
Could you have PJ do it?
Possibly.
I'm just thinking, because the biggest thing with it is that I think it would be good to take the thing we did at the end
I agree.
Intersperse it throughout it.
Yeah.
Is that the problem?
It partially that, and it's also partially that since then, I have had to make a new project. I've transferred computers. I've transferred drives.
Gotcha.
So getting all
There's
of
just a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, you'll be getting the Great Smokies cluster. If not, I don't really know what he's going to do.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Nonetheless, we have a lot of things going on the back end, plus some ad sponsors have been really annoying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Can I also do stuff, or...
Oh, yeah. I guess I could have you do that.
Yeah, you could have me do that.
Oh, nice, cool. So there's options. We have
Yeah.
anyway. What
Yeah.
I was trying to say is that getting to the Yosemite cluster just broke me, and I decided, you know what? There was a comment. Somebody was like, this channel is just a David Politis hate channel now. Why don't you just say what you mean? Why are you guys being so mean to David? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a David Politis hate video if that's what you people think this is.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking forward to this day for a long time.
Yeah. So the script was 30 pages long. And this week is Skinwalkers, and then it's MH17, and then
Yes, that sounds right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, because Skinwalkers I have to finish for this week, and yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then whatever I research next week is what goes in between the supercuts.
I think
He
you were
really
gonna do
has,
the
like,
what?
Sorry. Go on. Go on.
You were gonna do the Montana cluster, right?
Yeah. Right. Because we're gonna be in Montana.
Yep.
Wow.
No, that was gonna be what we shoot. That was gonna be the thing that we do while we're in Montana, I think, so that we could get on the ground footage.
Yes, but the time in which you would research that would be like the few days before we
Yes,
leave.
that was my point though. Is
Yeah,
like the video that goes in between
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
is gonna be what? How is it gonna go in between if we're gonna be shooting it while we're in Montana?
Sophie,
That's.
time.
I think that's.
I think David Politis goes in between the supercuts, right? Or was there something else?
For whatever reason, I thought last week of July was going to be Politis because 18th is MH17.
Let me pull up the sheet really quick.
This is exactly what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
guys. There's too many things.
We're so organized that we're not sure how we're organized.
Exactly.
Which sheet is it?
It's gonna be the content sheet. No. Actually, do the sponsorship tracker sheet. That's the most updated one.
Which one?
Wow.
The one with the current management.
Okay. All right. Okay. So July is okay. August. Jamestown Cannibals. That's what it is.
Oh, hell yeah. Holy
Yes. Okay. So there we go. Now we've got this figured out. Anyway, what I was saying is, we ordered a new camera and FedEx is dumb.
Oh yeah, guys.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah. I was so excited. I got this on a whim. Mainly because I gave them a lowball offer, assuming that they weren't going to actually say yes to it. And I was like, if it doesn't happen, then we'll revisit it in like 6 months to a year. If it means it's it's not meant to be.
His definition of lowball, by the way, is not what you might think.
No, but let's be fair.
It was a 10% discount.
Yes, but this is on a camera that currently
Yes.
is about 90% discounted.
Yeah, that's fair.
So so it was supposed to be delivered today, and I had been basically a hawk to both the front and back door of the house.
We were in the middle of a meeting, and he walked away to go look for the FedEx guy.
I did, and
Thank God I was in that meeting.
yeah, thankfully.
Usually not.
And the funny thing is because during that meeting, I saw the FedEx truck. I saw the FedEx truck that had my camera on board. And I know it was the FedEx truck that had my camera on board because earlier in the day, and I wish I screenshotted this, but there was a picture of the driver of that day of who was going to be dropping off my my package.
Oh, how
And
nice.
I know, right?
They'd give you a name, maybe a home address.
They did give a name, but again, I didn't screenshot it, unfortunately. So yeah, no, I'm regretting that I didn't. However, I did, as I saw them across the street delivering the package, I grabbed my phone and partially left the meeting to take a picture as I saw them get in and start driving, because I thought, oh, I swear if they don't pull over on this side road right now, I'm going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get a picture, and then I immediately ran downstairs, put on shoes, and went outside to go try and chase this man down. Completely gone. He must have absolutely floored it
Yeah.
out of this side road, and usually you have to wait a while for traffic to slow down so you can actually like cross the road. Nope, didn't happen. What did happen though is that prior to this event, the delivery time was 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And then by 2:30 p.m., it said that there was a delivery reschedule request. I can't remember the exact terminology, but I looked it up on Reddit, and apparently that's just what the drivers will say when they don't feel like dropping things off.
Right.
So I called FedEx, put in a ticket, and that's when I then saw the driver drive away. And I took a picture of it, called FedEx again, proceeded to get yelled at by some guy for 10 minutes saying that it was delivered on the 3rd, until I yelled at him loud enough for him to realize that he had the wrong tracking number. And then he kind of got quiet, and he was like, well, the ticket's already been made. I can't do anything else about it now. Goodbye.
Yep.
So, yeah. So now we're waiting on a new camera to us that's sitting in the back of a FedEx truck because they didn't feel like dropping it off today. And normally I'm not bad about this stuff. Normally I'm like, it's tough. People have schedules, things happen, whatever. But like, this is a relatively delicate and expensive piece of work equipment. And on an emotional side, I was really excited today.
Yeah, he's very into his cameras. He's been very excited about this camera for a long time.
Yes, it's more than just the past like couple weeks. I've been thinking about owning one of these cameras. It's an RE Alexa, for those who are curious. The RE Alexa Classic 4.3 Plus. And I was really excited about it. Was really excited to open it up, try it out today when we got to the studio. And of course, anytime I get excited about something, it just doesn't work out. So
yeah. So those of you,
attitude. Come on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Come on.
Those of you with access to X, formerly Twitter, if you want to tweet at FedEx and ask them where the Lore Lodge's package is, feel free to.
Yeah. I'll show on
just the tweet. Just say, "Hey, at FedEx, have you seen Lore Lodge's package?"
There we go.
It's ginormous.
That is the picture of the driver.
I don't know that they can, it's very blurry, and now it's in the okay.
There we go.
All right.
And he was texting and driving, so
Maybe he has a really good excuse, and this is just like a huge misunderstanding. And he was like, his wife was having a baby or something.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. Like that's the normal level of grace that I would give in these circumstances. But after the research I did, I felt less inclined.
I don't know if I was a FedEx driver and. If I was delivering a FedEx package and my wife was having a baby, I personally would be very confused because I'm not a FedEx driver and I don't have a wife.
That is a confusing set of
Yeah, that would be a problem.
You just dropped into that.
Yeah, exactly. Much like my great great grandfather was left on the doorstep of a church, I would also be dropped into this situation.
It is interesting how many times that story has come up in the last 2
I like to talk about it. I like to bring it up. Yeah. Anyway,
Like me.
there is a topic for today's episode, and it is the fact that I have gotten to the point. I'm not going to spoil, I'm not going to go through the entirety of my reasoning for the video because I don't want to spoil it for everybody. But I mean, at the same time, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably picked up on the reasoning. This is just distilling it into one place because for those of you who haven't seen Friday's video, there is a story in it which is so very clearly from the same sources David Politis used, an abduction and potentially either a murder or trafficking case. This is not in question. This is cut and dry. This man abducted a child and then claimed that she was abducted by a tribe of Bigfoot.
What was his name again?
Russell Welch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't be, us being mean to Russell Welch doesn't do anything because I believe he died about 10 years later. Yeah.
I will say the picture of him when I was going through and collecting all of the image sources for this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tracks.
Yeah. So Russell Welch abducted Teresa Beer. That was her name. The way Politis presents it is that Teresa Beer really was into Bigfoot and wanted to go Bigfoot hunting, and her neighbor Russell Welch, who styled himself a Bigfoot expert, offered to take her, and, she had permission. He even says he obtained permission, and that, he took her up into the mountains, and then while they were up in the mountains, she disappeared, and he blamed Bigfoot, and, the authorities thought it was him, but then they couldn't find any evidence, so they dropped the charges. The entire thing, you can very clearly tell, first of all, if Politis was going to recognize that this is clearly foul play, he wouldn't have included the story. Because the whole point of Missing 411 is that these are unexplained disappearances. This girl was abducted by her neighbor. She was intellectually disabled. He didn't mention that. He did not have permission to take her to the mountains that day. He left that part out. He was eventually found hiding out at his mom's house and never reported her missing. He claimed that he was the one who reported her missing. And I would chalk that up to David Politis basically just not reading his sources, or I would chalk it up to him not having information, if not for the fact that the very sources he cited are the sources that explain this. It's all articles from the Fresno Bee, and they're all very clear. There is no there's no mystery here. They knew he abducted this girl. They charged him for abducting this girl. And then, because apparently in California at the time, it would have been considered double jeopardy if they convicted him of kidnapping her and then found a body and charged him with murder for the same crime. I don't understand how that's double jeopardy. My understanding would be that, like, if somebody killed somebody and it was ruled manslaughter, you can't go back and charge them for murder when new evidence arises. Kidnapping doesn't seem like the same kind of crime. You wouldn't be charged for, like, kidnapping or murder. You'd be charged for kidnapping and murder. So I don't understand why this would have been double jeopardy. Maybe it was an issue if they were worried that the judge would see it that way, or the way California law worked at the time. Basically, fact of the matter is, the reason they dropped the charges was because they wanted to get him for murder, not for kidnapping, because kidnapping carried a sentence of 4 years.
Yeah.
Murdering an intellectually disabled child, on the other hand, especially given all of the circumstances leading up to it,
I would imagine
could probably get him life.
I was going to say minimum 25.
Yeah. He would then have to prove that he did not kill her, instead of just proving that he didn't mean for her to die. So I read that, and my opinion of David Politis went from, like, 8th Circle of Hell low to Dante's gonna need to write another sequel hell low. That's where I ended up. Also, do you know what the 9th Circle of Hell is for, like, betrayal and deception?
Honestly, that makes sense.
So it's like we're going even lower. Like, Judas is down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that's not actual Christian.
You sure? I can go check.
Yes, you can. But yeah, no, the 9 circles of hell is Dante's concept. That's not actually from the Bible. I found out that a surprising number of people don't know that.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're not too far away from a timeline in which, like, 300 years from now, that's going to be looked at kind of like the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. I hope not. It's kind of funny, though, because Dante is just like, yeah, I had this crazy dream, and funny thing, you suck. Like, to all the people he didn't like.
That's such a, like, good move, though.
Oh, you've slighted me in business. Well, in my dream, you were frozen in a lake of ice, and Lucifer was beating his wings at you. But you can't get mad at me for saying that because it was a dream.
It was just a dream, bro.
That was the reasoning, by the way.
Can we get that back into the rotation?
Dream literature was the point was that if you were just writing about your dream, you couldn't be tried for anything.
Is that still a thing?
In Minecraft.
Think they tried anybody for defamation back then?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, no, like, frequently.
Yeah, that checks out, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty common, actually.
It was actually, like, a thing called seditious libel.
That's 500 years after Dante, but yes.
Still.
That's another thing. A lot of people don't have a frame of reference for how old the Divine Comedy is. It's the 1200s.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have thought that.
A lot of people think it's like Shakespearean.
Yeah, I would have thought that was
And
post-Renaissance.
look at his outfit on the cover. Come on.
Yeah, Dante Alighieri. He was an Italian guy in the 1200s.
Okay, yeah, I'm not shocked at all.
hat.
That some people don't realize that that's not actually canon.
Yeah. Also, God, what is his name? The guy who wrote Paradise Lost.
Oh,
I was going to say Milton Friedman, but that's an economist. It's definitely not that.
Fuck. I mean,
I think Milton is part of his name.
Yeah, Milton. It is Milton. I just can't remember which part.
I'm gonna cheat.
Paradise Lost.
Yep. John Milton.
John Milton, yeah.
oh.
So a few fun things about John Milton and Paradise Lost. First of all, a lot of people out there in the general public do have a especially in evangelical circles, do have a misconception that the story of Lucifer from Paradise Lost is biblical. And that, the idea that Lucifer was God's favorite angel, but then he rebelled because he thought that humans were petty. Like, that's not from the Bible. That's from Paradise Lost. Also, Milton was a blind man who had to dictate his work, and he would get into fits of him being very uncomfortable because he had all of these things he wanted to write, and he only had his scribe at certain times, so he would complain that he needed to be milked.
He'd fit in well at the lodge, I guess.
Unfortunately. Yeah, we could keep him in the basement with Sophie.
You're moving up. Oh, never mind.
No. They're both down
Yeah,
there.
no. I mean, I'd hang out
That's
with
the
guys.
intern's job, is to milk the guy.
We can't say that.
No, we can't, can we? Yeah, that's not actually her job. We don't have her milking authors in the basement.
I hope not.
No, I would never. I would do it myself. It's a man's job. Anyway, back to
that hole.
back to the concept of missing people in Yosemite being nonsense. So the Teresa Beer case was the one that broke me. There's no way to write that story the way Politis did and not realize you're lying. And then I also came across a few other issues, so to speak, with his work as I was, starting to think about it. Like, for example, the story of how Missing 411 originated is different in the first two books than it is in A Sobering Coincidence. And for some reason, David Politis wrote a Missing 411 book. Now, keep in mind, Missing 411 is supposed to be about these unique factors. He says as much, right? The granite and swamps and storms and dogs and things like that. And then he published a book entitled Missing 411, A Sobering Coincidence, which is directly referencing and talks about smiley face killers cases. And even mentions Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte and the investigators behind that theory. All of those cases definitively, with I think the exception of Brandon Swanson, I think might have been included as a smiley face killers one. But almost all of them happened in cities or at the very least dense suburbs. It's kind of the whole point of the smiley face killers thing, with the exception of, I think, Todd Geib, actually. But for the most part...
But even there wasn't a national park.
No. Well, also, David talks about, how the genesis of Missing 411 is this ranger and or rangers approaching him and telling him, oh, there's all these weird disappearances in the parks, and the Park Service is actually covering it up. They're hiding it from people, and you should investigate this. And then David Politis proceeds to write two books, really, in which a good number of the disappearances didn't happen in national parks. For example, in Pennsylvania, there wasn't a single national park disappearance. Now, granted, I don't know how you would go missing in Valley Forge.
Yeah, you'd have to try.
You would have to. There is a large national forest, I believe.
I could see, maybe French Creek.
That's a state park, though.
Yeah,
I got lost there once. Not fun. I was in Doc Martens.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun at all.
No.
Anyway, wasn't David Politis formerly an investigator? He was a police officer, right?
Yeah, so that's a thing I actually didn't even go into in the script, the video.
Yeah,
I considered it. I considered doing let's look at Politis's credibility from other angles. For example, his Twitter is hilarious, but.
Can you explain?
I will in a moment. I got to the point where I was like, I've already written approximately 30 pages. I feel like continuing might just be too much.
Just beating a dead horse at that
point. I established that Missing 411 itself is definitively a lie. So I don't think I really needed to go after his credibility any further, because I already demonstrated he's not credible in other ways. But yeah, there was that, and the fact that he was a police officer. The problem is that, and I looked into this when we did is something supernatural responsible for Missing 411 video 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, or whatever it was. And I looked into it, and I was at the time I was being charitable to the man, but I could not find any evidence that he was ever a police detective.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and to be fair, part of that was all right, well, it's California police. They probably don't want to publicize that this guy was on any of their squads. And also, police investigations typically aren't super publicized. There's not going to be all sorts of articles out there that are Detective David Politis. But I couldn't find a single mention of Detective David Politis anywhere.
Did he put that in his book, or is that just when you look
He
online?
says he was a police detective.
Okay, all right.
As far as I could tell, he was, he appears to have been a bailiff or something adjacent to a bailiff. He also was put on desk duty towards the end of his career because he was using city stationery, like police department stationery, to get autographs from people. And if I remember correctly, he was telling them that it was for a fundraiser, and that's why he was using the city stationery, and then he was going and selling them.
Yikes.
So they put him on desk duty. They didn't fire him because he was like a year away from retirement, and I guess he had been a good enough cop up until that point that they didn't want to like totally take his legs out from under him. So he has a police pension that he still receives.
So it's less that he wasn't in law enforcement. It's just less that he may never have actually gotten to the level of detective.
Yeah, that's the thing is I found no evidence he was a detective. And as far as I can tell, he's never provided any, which should be a relatively easy thing to do. At least to say, like, I worked as a detective for this precinct from this year to this year. And then, a journalist could easily call that department and say, hey, did David Politis work here as a detective?
He may have done it like as a throwaway thing in one of his many videos.
And to be honest, I can't even necessarily remember if he said specifically he was a detective. I know he said he was a law enforcement officer. And like I said, I couldn't find any evidence of it. But
just at the end of the day, what level he got to in law enforcement is not really of
problem. Let's ask Grok.
You should do that. I mean, like on Google, it's like David Politis, and then subheading American former police officer. Not even like guy who's
what's Grok got to
on
say?
Shows.
He claims that he had a 20-year career in law enforcement, where he worked in various roles, including assignments in the detective division, which I think is probably where the trickery is happening. Assignments in the detective division, if you say that to somebody, oh, I was a police officer and I worked assignments in the detective division, somebody who's a layman might think that you're a detective. I'm not sure if he's ever, and this is the thing, I'm not sure if he's ever explicitly said he was a detective. But critics have pointed out that Politis' final role was as a court liaison officer, described as a lower level position far removed from detective work. I have never, ever, ever, ever found something showing he was a detective. And Grok can't either. I wasn't referencing Grok to be like, hey, Grok, is this true? Grok, is this true? It was more because I was like, you know what, maybe there's something I missed and a large language model will be able to find it. No. So let's go and look.
I also just tried GPT.
Yeah.
And couldn't find anything that wasn't directly written by Politis himself.
Yeah. Let's see what there actually here, I'll go to Discord because I had this set up in Discord. And there were a couple of good ones. I'm not going to bother trying to find them on the show. It'll just waste time and annoy people. But if we go down to where is it? Where to go? Wait, no, actually, where to go? Our Discord has too many channels, and I don't know where to find anything anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's in the lodge somewhere, I think, right? There it is. Politis is lying. What did we have? Where to go? Yeah, here we go. I've researched over 10,000 search and rescues of missing people, including over 1,000 cases of people hiking alone that seemingly walked off of cliff ledges. If you've followed me, you know I've never believed people hiking alone were that reckless. Something else has to have happened. First of all, people hiking alone are that reckless. Maybe this incident is the epiphany. Did an external force intervene in the victim's mind? What would have happened if he was hiking alone? He'd be dead, and rescuers would say it was another foolish mistake. There's much more to this than what we believe. That is about a recent incident about a 14-year-old boy who walked off of a cliff.
Oh.
Yeah. I've realized that dozens have jumped in that know nothing about why I posted the article or anything about my work. I've written 12 books about missing people. I've also made 3 documentaries. Missing 411, Missing 411 The Hunted, and Missing 411 The UFO Connection. Because when it became clear that Bigfoot wasn't responsible, Politis switched to UFOs. And he did that around the same time that UFOs were getting popular. Isn't that crazy? Wow. You know, how like back in like 2017, there was a surge in the popularity of UFO disclosure?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's about when he came out with the book. I think it was 2020. Yeah. Each documentary went to #1 in the world and can be viewed on Tubi for free. I don't know what he means by that.
Number
Yeah,
one
it
in
can
the
be viewed
world.
on Tubi for free, but number one in the world for what?
Great question.
For conspiracy theories?
You know, on the, like the documentary list of like just documentaries.
Yeah, just the
of, like,
documentaries.
Yeah.
The
Or
number
like,
one
Free
documentary in the
Books
world.
is
There's
a New
that
York
one
Times
guy-
bestseller.
There's
Yeah.
that one guy who makes the list. Like he watches every documentary and then he'll tell you if it's number one in the world or not.
So each documentary went to number one in the world. The movies were designed to build upon the other and walk you down a series of facts, open your mind to facts you knew nothing about. Except as we've discovered over and over again, Aiden, he usually leaves the facts out or he gets them wrong. But what I think is really funny about that statement is that one of the movies, and I referenced this in the video on it, Missing 411 The Hunted, he left out a pretty major fact about Aaron Hedges.
Which is, remind us one more time.
He was a detoxing alcoholic who was taking benzodiazepines and also drinking.
And why is that important?
Well, if you've ever done that, and I have, you don't make the most rational choices. Sometimes you get very irritable. Sometimes you get catatonic. Sometimes you're staring at a wall in the den in State College for about 20 minutes before any of your friends finds you.
That sounds pretty specific.
What? No. Yeah, so he also, he left out the part where his friends and family said that he had been irritable lately and that he was not behaving rationally in a general sense. And I got in touch with the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Department back when I did the video on Aaron Hedges. And as it turns out, the Sweetgrass County Sheriff's Office told Politis that...
Oh, sorry. Pardon me.
They told Politis that Aaron was detoxing and that he was on drugs and that he had been irritable. And I think Politis also failed to mention that he and his friends were actively poaching. All of these are relevant.
Yes.
These are all relevant, and Politis left them out, and I have confirmation from one of the investigating agencies that he left them out. He also constantly talks about doing FOIA requests and everything, right? He didn't do one for that case. And the actual investigating agency, Park County, didn't give him their files. Interestingly, they did give Nick from the Missing Enigma their files.
Well, he's a saint, so.
Yes. So what else do we have in here? I don't lead people by their nose and claim I have all the answers, but I am well read on periphery topics.
What is this from again?
This is his Twitter.
Okay.
This is with surrounding the 14-year-old who, according to the article, lost touch with reality, walked off Mount Whitney.
I've done that.
Here's the thing. He's like, he's making this specific instance in which we have the father saying that his son had been losing touch with reality and applying that writ large to all of the disappearances of people who walked off of cliffs.
Naturally.
There's no evidence for that. Also, I don't lead people by their nose and claim I have all the answers, but I am well read on periphery topics. Which ones? What does that mean? He gets things wrong about search and rescue procedures all the time. He gets things wrong about how FOIA works all the time. He repeatedly refers to himself as a published author in Missing 411 Western United States and Eastern United States. But Aiden, do you know what he had been published over?
The 2 Bigfoot books?
2 Bigfoot books. And I'm not disparaging Bigfoot researchers. But that's a little different than, investigating Watergate.
Yeah, I don't call myself a documentarian.
Yeah, that's just not like you're a published author, but that's kind of like if I were to write a book and then get it published for a university press and have nobody read it and call myself an author. Like
that's like the people who write kids books on Amazon and they're like, "Well, I'm published." So
yeah. Also, a good amount of the published material in Western United States is, especially the Yosemite section, is ripped right from Off the Wall, which is another book about people who died in Yosemite, but it just doesn't make them out to be Bigfoot.
Well, they must be wrong then.
Oh yeah, of course. And that was only written by a guy who was, superintendent of Yosemite.
Yeah, what kind of knowledge would they possibly?
Right? There's no way. There's no way. He was a ranger there, and he was Parkett's superintendent at one point. And
he was working with Bigfoot. All right, he was working with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They had an affair. That's all we have to say about it.
Nick also made a great point in his video on Stacy Arras recently, where he pointed out that Politis, in his FOIA request, and also in his books, complained that the guy who wrote Off the Wall, whose name is escaping me at the moment for some reason. Sophie, can you look that up? Off the Wall, Deaths in Yosemite. Jamie, pull that shit up. what was I saying? Oh, yeah. He said that the guy who wrote the book had received the case files. So if another author who was published had received the case files, then the National Park Service can't withhold them from him, which is partially true. Thing is, that author was a former park superintendent and also said that he didn't get access to those files and was writing based on his own recollection from being involved.
All right, we got Michael P. Giglietti and Charles R. Butch Farabee Jr.
Yes, Butch Farabee. That's who it was. That's the one who was writing based on his own personal experiences. We also have an instance in the Great Smoky Mountains one where he totally misrepresented what Dwight McCarter, an actual ranger, said to imply that there were tribes of wild men living in the park.
Also, like, the likelihood of most of those cases was misrepresented, especially like Mark Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
And who was the other one? Not
Greg,
the other
George. No, the other. Oh, Michael Reel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Reel was just a kid. Now, granted, we watched, after we put out the Reel video, I had neglected to go on YouTube and look for Michael Reel interviews because I just didn't think there would be one. There was one. It was from a channel called Interviews with Famous People. I recommend checking that interview out. There were a number of questions that I still had after that interview. That said, they weren't regarding how he could have been lost.
Yeah.
But anyway, just finishing out this tweet. Also, I think the periphery topics he's talking about are Bigfoot. I'm not even kidding. If you haven't watched the movies or followed my YouTube channel, 800 videos there, which is a lot of videos. That's more videos than we have.
Yeah, to be fair,
he has been doing it longer.
He's been doing it longer, and also they're a little less labor intensive.
Yeah, he does just kind of set up the camera and talk to it and kind of doesn't stay on topic.
Yeah, it's like what people get mad about us for this show.
Yeah, but that's not like we do the Friday shows a different way.
Exactly.
So yeah, at a minimum. So yeah, and I love he goes for the suspicious observers, the Ben Davidson approach, the Ashton Forbes approach. You know, if you haven't watched the movies or followed my YouTube channel, 800 videos there at a minimum. If you haven't watched all 800 videos, you won't grasp why this was posted. Right. I also have a YouTube page with 500,000 followers, and I post every other day, Can-Am Missing Project. Can you imagine if somebody asked me, like, hey, why do you think that Missing 411 overall is kind of a lie? Would I sit there and go, you need to watch all... There must be, 100 and some videos now?
Yeah, they were creeping up on...
There's at least 60 Missing 411 videos on the channel. If I were like, you have to watch... Yeah, well, including ones we did multiple times, like, as we evolved. But if I was like, yeah, you got to watch our entire YouTube channel before I can even get into that with you.
How would you actually answer that question?
The way I'm doing it right now, I would begin autistically rattling off examples, as I usually do when people ask me these questions in public.
Yep, can confirm.
Yeah. If people start asking me, I'm like, oh, here's my opinion on it. Here's where it comes from. I don't sit there and go, like, in order for me to explain this to you, you have to watch my entire corpus of work.
The funny thing is, I need to remind everybody that this is just how we are as normal people.
Yeah.
So frequently when we meet somebody or even just our friends ask us something, we will just, we will
info dump
like this. And then sometimes people get bored and are upset that they asked.
Yeah, it's fair.
What?
But yeah, so he said all that. There was another one in here that I wanted to read. Oh yeah. Was I provided with the I wasn't. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Because I thought it was in there, but he also follows, he has some interesting tastes on Twitter.
Like Ted Cruz level, or?
No, not like that. Like, no. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to get political. Not to get political. But here we go. Can I find the exact one? No. Where'd it go? Kind of parent. Yeah, the tweet I'm looking for is what kind of parent leaves their boy to wander the plains alone? Parent leaves their boy to wander. Is it gone?
Dingo ate my baby, etc.
Is it gone? It was March 21st, 2023. Yeah.
Are you on his actual Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
March 21.
I can't get over the accidental jumps to me because the cameras are switched. And I'm just like, I'll just autistically be staring at the monitor. It's pretty bad.
Why can't I find it? Can I do the
Caught on. It's too late.
Yeah, he's covering his tracks.
well, I just want to do the like Google image, like the lens thing. Anyway, it reads, what kind of parent leaves their boy to wander the plains alone? Horrific. Then the segment shows more Chinese men illegally crossing our border. Men! Remember the Trojan horse? Chinese men are not allowed to leave China without permission from the CCP.
What?
Huh?
I'm not sure what he's talking about here. I'm trying to find it.
Right.
I'm just going to search Chinese men on his account, I guess. He has a shocking number of tweets about Chinese men crossing the border.
Does it give you like a number?
No, but it goes on for a while.
Does he blame Bigfoot?
And oh, here we go. Yeah, what's the exact? Moments ago, we encountered a 2-year-old boy, unaccompanied minor, who was abandoned at the border, according to a migrant woman who found the boy. He's wearing a makeshift ID with a Louisiana address on it. We encountered them with a group of Chinese nationals who just crossed illegally into Texas. And we get, what kind of parent leaves their boy to wander the plains alone? Horrific. Then the segment shows more Chinese men illegally crossing our border. Remember the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse was not really relevant to this.
No, not even close.
And you know me, I'm not like soft on China. I am very hawkish on China. And even I'm looking at this like...
Is he using the child, or is he just saying...
Also, the child does not appear to be Chinese.
Yeah, this just feels...
That child appears to be Central American.
Yeah.
Remember the Trojan horse.
This is a Central American child. And he's like, the Chinese.
Yeah, this is sounding like an ism.
We're just going to scroll through until we get to...
This happens to be with a bunch of Chinese men.
Also,
Doesn't even seem like they're
it's
there.
a lot of... It's mostly political stuff now that I'm looking over it again. Like,
He posted something like 4 hours ago about Fox News and the Epstein files. I don't know.
Did he really?
Yes. I'm sure.
yeah, it's mostly just like MAGA Republican stuff.
Is he just old man yelling at cloud?
Apparently.
You know what? That just makes him more believable in my opinion.
This is wild. Oh, what do we got here? Here we go. I've said in many lectures that we're living in the ant farm.
What?
Every once in a while, our keepers stop by and take a few of us for meals. These are the ones I was trying to find. Meals, DNA, souls, blood, etc. They try to make our existence pleasant so that we will continue to procreate and continue producing fresh DNA. Our keepers are a bit upset at us because we keep fighting and killing our own species. They don't like it, nor do they understand our violence.
I'm assuming he's talking about aliens. And
Oh, yeah, it
other
appears to
guys
be
who are
about
like-
aliens,
okay,
yeah.
great.
This was a response to a post from UAP Juan, MIT astronomer John A. Ball in 1973. The hypothesis is that extraterrestrial intelligences are avoiding contact with us to allow for natural evolution and sociocultural development, much as zookeepers try to prevent animals from seeing them. So he
That's
responded
not
to
what
this
happens in
saying,
zoos.
no, it's not. I've said in many, most of the animals like know the zookeepers and
Well,
are very well aware. I'm wondering if
Unless it's like
I don't think UAP, I don't think John Ball ever really went to a zoo.
I'm assuming they're referring to that thing where they were like, you can't see what wolves actually do in captivity. Like when they're talking about watching them in a zoo, it's like a genuine experiment. Like you have to sit back and watch their behavior.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not like a regular functioning.
I get where you're coming from,
Zoo.
but the usage of the word zoo in that context makes...
Oh, well, he
little
said ant
sense.
farm. Politis said ant farm.
No, but in the other
Yeah.
one... Oh, right, yeah.
I'm just, here's the thing. I'm sitting here and I'm like, no wonder. No wonder Missing 401 is the way it is, because this man literally unironically said that every once in a while our keepers stop by and take a few of us for meals, DNA, souls, blood, etc. I'm also interested in the concept of both human souls existing and aliens.
I'd like him to elaborate on meals. Like, are they taking us out for meals?
No, I don't
Are
think
we the
that.
meal?
I think that's...
Right.
Also, direct reply to this. Dave, when are you getting on Joe Rogan? And he goes, Joe puts on who his audience requests. I guess I haven't had enough people demand me on.
Oh no.
I for David's sake, I hope he never gets invited on Rogan. Because while Joe Rogan is an incredulous Mongol Khan of a man, he would rip this guy apart.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think he would.
I think he would.
I mean, he didn't rip Bob Lazar apart.
Yeah, but he doesn't know anything about aliens. What he does know things about being in the wild. He does go elk hunting. And
That's
I
fair.
think an elk hunter could pretty quickly pick up on how you get lost in the woods.
That's fair.
I'd like to think that Joe Rogan would question it. I'd like to think that. I do sometimes forget the man is a comedian. Oh boy. I agree with everything you have said, David, except the last couple lines mentioned. I believe they fully understand our violence and our design. And David replies, I don't think so. They are of a much higher order. We are their livestock.
There is such a better, more effective way to keep
gets better.
livestock.
Our culture doesn't view harvesting chicken, cows, goats, sheep as violence. I would argue that we do recognize that there is a degree of violence involved in slaughtering animals. They don't view harvesting us for their sustainability as violence. You need to change your paradigm, which I just love that you need to change your paradigm.
Yeah, that's
Great
actually pretty
quote from a
solid.
tweet.
David, are you unaware of all the mutilation of humans that have happened? Two of which are Jack the Ripper in 1888 and the Russian incident with those skiers a few years back. Those are just the main ones in the spotlight. I'm going to be honest.
What?
I have no idea what this means.
What is he talking about with Jack the Ripper?
Or Russian skiers.
Is that an
I'm
attempt?
assuming that is that Yatlov.
That's what I was going to say. Is that
Maybe, but they weren't skiers.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Is it an attempt at saying?
Oh, well, no, you
were
must
on
understand.
about-
David Politis also didn't think this relevant. And he responded, and your point? How do you know that's not our government on a psyop?
I don't know how I feel
Our
about that.
Jack the Ripper.
Our
The
government.
two examples given were Jack the Ripper and that Russian incident with the skiers a few years back, which I'm still not sure what he means. Jack the Ripper, in this tweet, is dated to 1888.
I love how we're just doing a live react to David Blaze's Twitter at this point.
At this point, yes, but it kind of
Is fitting, yes.
was the point of the video. The thumbnail says we've had it with missing 411.
That's fair.
And I went into the Yosemite cluster being a mess.
I will say, based on his Twitter, I think we may have been too gentle on the video.
We might have been too gentle. But so I just want to point out that our government was Jack the Ripper. He is claiming was a psyop by the American government.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Jack the Ripper.
One guy killing some people.
I will say just really quickly because this has the potential
Jazz.
of being important. Tyler Lewis in the chat says, Aiden, if you're actually live and can see this, I need your help. A childhood friend of mine has gone missing. His name is Jonathan Lyman. I have more in detail post on the last post you put out on YouTube.
The post, as in the post from today?
I would check either there or the last video that we did.
Comments. Yeah.
It'd be from Tyler Lewis.
Tyler Lewis. Let me go to posts. Does not appear that there are any comments on that. Oh, here it is. Hey, Aiden, I hope you see this because I could really use your help. I just found out a childhood friend of mine went missing in Florida/Alabama, and I was hoping you could spread some awareness. His name is Jonathan Lyman. He's autistic and went missing from Walton County, Florida. They discovered he was gone early in the morning and found he had taken a golf cart. The golf cart was found near a forest, but he wasn't found. His cell phone last pinged in Alabama. He's been missing since July 4th. I know you have a special place in your heart for people with autism, so I'm hoping you'll help spread the word. We just want to make sure he comes back safe. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to take that, I'm going to screenshot that, and I'm going to crop it. And then I am going to pop that up onto Twitter.
While you do that, I'm going to hit the restroom.
Sounds good. Got a comment on our YouTube about a missing individual. If any of you have information, please contact your the Florida and Alabama State Police. All right, and Tyler, I will respond to that comment and try and ask a few more questions, and then we can make a broader post and see if we can help.
Is there a picture up of him anywhere?
A picture would certainly help. But yes, back to what we were doing. Oh boy. Let's keep going. NEFCON.
Oh,
Wait, when is it? When is this? Oh, I'm so mad that we missed this.
what?
We're going to be in Montana at the end of the month in Bozeman. And at the end of last month, there was NEFCON, as in Nephilim.
Wow.
Oh, that's so brutal.
You think a bunch of tall people?
Feature powerful presentations by Timothy Alberino, David Politis, Congressman Eric Burleson, Joe Allen, and Gary Heaven, addressing topics related to Nephilim, cyclic cataclysm, transhumanism, artificial intelligence, UAP disclosure, the missing 411 phenomenon, Bigfoot, and Bible prophecy. Oh, I could have had so much fun with this conference.
Oh, that's such a shame. That is such a shame.
I'm so mad. Politis was speaking at a conference in Bozeman 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no way.
If it had been at the end of this month instead of at the end of June, we could have been there.
Give him the list of the topics.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
on,
Ready
roll
for
off
this?
the list.
Ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Addressing topics related to Nephilim, we know about those. Cyclic cataclysm, we know about that. Transhumanism, Peter Thiel said some weird stuff about that recently.
Very weird, yeah.
Artificial intelligence, we hate it. UAP disclosure, haven't really addressed that one. The missing 411 phenomenon, Bigfoot, and Bible prophecy.
Has he been watching our channel?
I don't know, but it almost sounds like it.
Yeah.
Has David Politis been just using our channel to pick topics to lie to people about?
That's an oddly weird cyclical relationship.
To be fair, we do. Most of the stuff we cover is generally related to conspiracy theories, and conspiracy theories are generally related to each other. So
yeah, that's fair.
Oh God, what was he there to talk about? Oh my God, you're never gonna believe
What is it?
what the title of his first talk was.
Let me hear it.
David Politis, missing 411 facts, the only important element in any investigation.
Wow, I wish we were there.
I wish we were there. And then we had his second talk. Bigfoot. Science holds the answer.
Amen, brother.
If science is anthropology, probably.
Okay, we do have him getting something right.
Chemistry holds the answer.
We do have him getting something right here.
Okay.
This is with regard to those missing kids in Nova Scotia, whose names I cannot remember off the top of my head. If what this article states is true, RCMP searched a 4 square kilometer area. That's a catastrophic failure.
Good boy.
You're right, David. The RCMP overall is a catastrophic failure.
Thank God he got something right.
Yeah. But no, so that's the thing is like just looking at his Twitter, like the man has some out there opinions that I don't think most of the people who are familiar with Missing 411 are familiar with. You get people who see the stuff that Mr. Ballin put out, for example. And I'm not blaming Mr. Ballin for this at all. But you see that stuff and you think that this is all David Politis is talking about. It's not. You see Missing 411, how he never explicitly says it's Bigfoot, but then if you read between the lines, he's repeatedly saying it's Bigfoot.
Or also, like, check out his website.
Oh, yeah. North America Bigfoot search is definitely advertising Missing 411, to say the least.
Not only is it doing that, the director's message is from David. The picture of the director is of David.
Yeah.
The entire website is basically dedicated to David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a surprise. It is a lot of it is a lot of politics on here.
I really wonder if there's like a psychological thing going. Like, is he genuinely just a liar and he's like obsessed with lying, or do you think he's like fully
Yeah, he may just
believing
be
that
out of it.
Bigfoot?
Well, but
is
here's the thing, like, that's where I was up until the Teresa Beer one, when I was like, all right, I got to go back and look through this again. And I found that, like, over and over again, he was lying. There were several cases in the Yosemite cluster
is he
alone.
dumb? Did he like not look up the information that you?
No, he was reading the same articles. That's why it's...
Oh, so he just
so
genuinely
he just
ignored
left
it.
information out. And then there's the part where he lied. He changed his story on how Missing 411 originated, too.
Right.
And we go into detail about that in the video on it that's coming up. But... I can't tell. Is the man a grifter? He's definitely a grifter, but he almost seems too smart to be as stupid as he seems.
It may just be an insane case of confirmation bias. I mean, you having gone through his Twitter tells me that, like, he's not even near the reservation. It's not that he's, like, gently off it. He is...
Missing 411 off the reservation.
Literally, yeah. Like, it sounds like, based on the things he's saying in his tweets, that he, like, I would not be surprised if he's, like, a top-tier patron for InfoWars or something like that. Like, he is above and beyond. If there are, I don't know, what are the rifts? The interdimensional rifts?
Oh, yeah.
I think if that is possible... His mind, not his physical body, but his mind has gone through one.
Oh, yeah. Also, we're finally getting, there's a Kickstarter active right now.
Oh, I did see that.
For Missing 411 National Parks.
Oh, man.
And here's what gets me. The graphic for it says, National Park Service says they have no lists of missing people. They have a list of missing people on their website.
I was going to say it's literally on their website.
That is something he wrote in 2011 at a time where it might have been true. As far as I can tell, that list appears to have gone up like in 2012, I think, potentially in response to this.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there weren't that many people asking for one.
This is where I think it might just be insane
confirmation
bias.
Says they have no list of missing people, demands $1.4 million to develop a list that already exists, and refuses to release missing persons reports that are 50 years old. I don't know what he's referring to there. They did release the files for Dennis Martin. They have not released the files for Stacy Arras. That is still a thing. However, the other things he said have not been true in years. So either he doesn't ever go back and check and see if anything's changed, or he's lying.
This is my thing, and this is where I'm starting to think it's just a lot of confirmation bias and lack of, like, thoroughness in his work. Is because, like, he may have been using the same articles as you, but I think he probably skimmed, looked for things that stuck out to him as being in the same ballpark of everything else he's done, and then just said, like, went with that and moved forward.
Okay, cool. And he's lying about considering himself a researcher.
Yeah.
Like, or he calls himself an investigative journalist.
Ew.
No, you're kind of a crackpot who writes books, my guy. But it is
He's published. He is
published. He's published and I'm not. You know, he's got that.
He has the number one at one time had the number one documentary in the world. So
yeah, whatever that means.
For each one of them.
For all of them, yeah.
How could we ever compete?
Guys, you're cooked, in my opinion.
What is this? Oh my god.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. The oh god, we should have done the David Politis deep dive ages ago, because we probably would have.
To be fair, I think I needed the time to do all of the research and get to this point naturally.
That's fair.
Because that's the other thing, is I think I was able to write a pretty powerful intro.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, no, this is, in my opinion, some of your best writing. And it's also very.
Oh, thank you.
It's tasteful in the way it absolutely clowns on him.
So, they never released any information about Stacy Arras. They just.
Well, there is information out there, but they didn't release the investigative
like the actual,
records.
Okay,
I will say this much: the Stacy Arras one, I think that there is very much a question about why they're still holding on to this material. It has been over 40 years. Most of the people present that day should be either very old or dead. And clearly, the case has not advanced. So either the Stacy Arras case holds information that is relevant to some sort of trafficking ring that's still operational, or they never properly closed the case. And
They don't want to look bad.
it's just red tape that, like, oh, well, it is technically still a criminal case, but also, like, we're too lazy to go and put the effort in. I would not put it past the government to be lazy. And on top of that, I will say, we saw a similar thing happen with the way that the New Hampshire State Police handled the Maura Murray case,
Very much so.
where they repeatedly said, this is not a criminal investigation, and then their reasoning in court for why they would not release the information was that it was a criminal case. I wouldn't be shocked if the National Park Service was doing something like that as well.
Yeah,
but
not at all.
we've got chats.
Yes, so for those of you who have sent so many super chats so far, thank you very much. We
Yes.
very much appreciate it. For
I
those
would say
of
if you haven't sent one in, get it in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was going to be my recommendation. By 8:10 to 8:15, we're going to cut them off because we already have several.
Yes, there's quite a
and
few.
we need to get home tonight, and I have more work I have to get done. So, but we're going to scroll all the way back to the beginning of the show and start with Mads, who is a new member. Thank you very much to the lodge.
It's very kind of you.
And then Nextus for $1.99 says, "Hello, resident Lord Lodgers. How we doing?" Gomb sent a couple.
We didn't answer the question. How are you doing?
Oh, I'd be better if my camera got delivered,
Yeah, it's fair.
but otherwise I'm all right.
I got a pretty good sleep last night.
Yeah,
That's a rarity for me.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Soph, how you doing?
I'm well. I had a few strange dreams. None that I will indulge you in, but I'm good.
Well, now I'm
Why
curious.
are you looking at me like that? All
'Cause
right?
if you had said I had a few strange dreams and then moved along, but I don't remember them and then moved along, you would.
Well, I always have.
Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, what kind of strange dreams? Are we talking like, Bigfoot sued me because I went out with his daughter? Or are we talking about like.
No, it was more like a very beautifully filmed dream about a teacher who was doing bad things with students. And I had to find like VHS tapes of these things. It was interesting.
Hold on to that thought. That sounds like a good movie concept.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good movie concept there.
I've got the storyboards in my brain.
Who would you say directed this film? You said it was a beautifully filmed movie, so I assume not Wes Anderson.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of lens flare, like bokeh situation going on, but then it would
Zack Snyder?
hard cut to like normal, but it was grainy. It was grainy. So it was like a filmy person.
Were there feet involved?
I'm going to say no.
So not
So
Tarantino.
not Tarantino.
It was not Tarantino.
We have ruled out Tarantino and Anderson.
I mean, it was almost Sofia Coppola-esque.
I was gonna say because if it was spotlights and not lens flares and grainy, then I would say it was Spielberg.
The grainy thing is the only reason it's not Michael Bay.
Maybe giving
Yeah.
it a little Virgin Suicide, so
Okay.
vibe.
All right, well, the answer to the question is we're all doing okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love to hear it. We love to hear it. Gomb is excited about rent not being due and is looking forward to Blobfest. And also for hopefully the last time, Aiden, did you get my email about Finland? Did we get his email about Finland?
Yes, Finland isn't real. It's not my fault.
It is inside of the margin of error for any statistic survey of the number of people in Europe.
That's
so.
what he says in the email.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was.
I was aware.
It was the slideshow, right? I just want to confirm that.
Yes.
I haven't seen the slideshow, but I'm aware of the belief.
I did see the slideshow. Yeah. He's also saying one of his bodyguards are coming, but is excited about Blobfest due to the new bodyguard baby, and the three are not coming to help the new mother. Okay, fair enough. Griff,
Okay.
$10. Says, shout out to Elena, not to Heller, for refining the shirt design. She posted it in the Thrombosis General. She'll probably listen to this later. Please consider her for any future designs you need done.
I
Thank you for
I'm gonna
putting
go
it
look at the
in
search.
the one place I will likely see it.
want to go look at it.
Shirt.
Where's the shirt?
Let's find out.
There's a lot of channels in here. There are so many channels. Where is that one?
Oh, that's not a refining. That's a completely.
Can I see it? I can't find the.
Yeah, it's a completely different shirt.
That is a completely different shirt.
Unless I'm not looking at the right thing.
Trying to find the original shirt, but it's back there.
I think it's just that.
Somebody is making questionable choices with a revolver.
Right.
Yeah, I can't find the original shirt.
Anyway, thank you for that design. It is fun. Nonetheless, next is for $10 says if the Lord God.
Oh, they made me the guy. They made me the redneck guy.
What is that from?
I don't even remember. I just have seen the picture before. It's an old meme image, I think.
That's entertaining. It kind of looks like Garth.
No, stop. Don't do that to me. Read the next chat.
Garth Brooks?
No,
Sorry.
no.
Girth Brooks.
Thank God we don't have an HR department.
I mean, we do.
Who?
Which is who?
Probably
It's
Kat
her.
and Amanda.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. Do you feel safe and protected by your HR department?
Well, I just found out I had one, so sure. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I feel protected. Yeah. No.
There's a lot of weapons in this room. You are protected.
Yeah.
Not from us.
I have a stapler gun at my disposal, so.
There we go.
Yeah, you're probably the most well-armed person in the room right now.
Anyway.
Nextus says, if the Lord gods decree it, I shall sacrifice Gomb with a ceremonial dagger for the milk.
Due to YouTube community guidelines and also legal reasons, we cannot advocate that you do that.
But Franklin can say for $2, David Paulides nuts.
Oh, got him. Got him.
God.
Okay.
The
Pseudo-
energy in this room is
Yeah, no, we're on something else tonight.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Hey, this is going better than last time. I don't
That's
mean
fair.
your show. I mean the last time I was here. And we just kind of got completely off track.
That's fair.
So-
We've been doing that more and more.
This episode was mostly on track.
Yeah, it's about time we got off track.
You just gotta keep bashing people, you know?
Yeah.
That keeps you going.
Where's Ashton Forbes at?
Oh, he had a crash out.
Did he?
Yeah, somebody on Twitter, trying to remember, it was like Falcor something, sent me the link. It was with Professor Dave's YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did a video on why Ashton's whole thing is nonsense.
Oh, I did see this, yeah.
And my opinion was, I was like, I don't think you're going to reach anybody who supports Forbes with this, but at the same time, I understand that's not your goal.
Yeah.
Apparently, Forbes saw it and totally crashed out, filed a copyright notice, started commenting all over the place. Yeah, he has gone completely nuts. But yeah, it's him, Ben Davidson, now David Politis. It's the same thing.
Who's Ben David?
Suspicious Observers. He's the guy who makes solar news about the sun's activity and tries to convince everybody that the pole shift is going to cause what Chan Thomas said happens to happen, where the crust of the earth goes whoosh. And the only way you can survive this for sure is to invest in his ranch in Colorado. And by invest, he doesn't mean own equity in. He means pay for a membership.
Of course.
Because as we all know, when the Earth's crust shifts on its axis and all of the natural disasters occur, Colorado will be
Colorado
safe.
stays.
Isn't that the same grift Owen Benjamin did?
Owen Benjamin does all the grifts.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't wait for them to go to space, you know?
Owen Benjamin and I have argued on Twitter.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
I think it's very funny. He called me gay, and I responded that somebody who fumbled Nicole Richie has no right to make that claim. He did not like that.
The downside of having a digital footprint.
Yeah.
I know you are, but what am I?
He did not respond to me pointing out that he fumbled Nicole Richie.
Yeah, there's probably not a good way to come back from that one.
No.
Yeah, this guy can get pretty he knows where to jab when he needs to.
I have older cousins who tormented me for years.
They refined his skill.
They refined my skills, yeah. You simply adopted the name calling. I was born into it. Molded by it.
Oh, so good. Anyway, Pseudo Legend says for $5, good evening, lads. Hope y'all kept your extremities over the holidays. As far as I'm aware,
Yeah.
we did.
All of them.
Cool.
Did you not? Are you missing something?
No, I'm just kind of zoning out right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid for zoning out.
All right. How's everybody doing? How are we, guys? Happy to see you. Thanks so much for all your super chats.
Kelly Wood's a new member for 6 months.
Ooh, thank you.
You don't get paid for yawning.
No, I do.
He
Yeah,
actually
that's
gets
a good
time and a half.
That's actually it's funny how YouTube works like that. Anyway, Kellen, the official data for 199 says, "What do you mean? What do you mean, you people?
Kellen, don't you have a survival book to be writing for me?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, you people?" Also, yeah, write the book. Mr. Dilo for 953, love the specificity, says, "Do y'all, hang on,
What?
do y'all be doing the do, or perchance does the do be doing you? And opinions on mega ultra cool dinos on the ranch, particularly the IRL Dilo." Well, we're big fans of dinos.
We are big fans of dinos, and I have not done the do in a while. It lowers your sperm count, for one. That's probably a sign it's not great for your body. But also, it's very sugary.
Are we talking Mountain Dew?
Well, that's how he spelled it.
Right,
We
I was
talk-
just taking it like do the doobie doobie doo, that kind
He
of.
said do the do, as in Mountain Dew.
Dew. Are we talking the original Mountain Dew or the current?
No, I do be doing the original Mountain Dew.
Do you know what the original Mountain Dew is?
Yeah, I plead the fifth.
It's not a leap.
No, it
Is
was
it like is it like Thai Red Bull or
No, like think like way older.
like moonshine?
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Mountain Dew originated as a mixer for moonshine and liquor in general.
That makes sense. That checks
Yeah.
out, to be honest. Yeah.
It's not Dr. Enough, sadly. We should order some Dr. Enough for the lodge.
That'd be great.
We can get it
I
off
almost forgot
Amazon.
about Dr. Enough. How could I?
I wish I could have tried the Coca-Cola.
the what?
The original
cocaine.
formula Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah. That's valid. Moving swiftly along, Wolf Lord Brand for $2 says,
What a name.
"Intern
Aw.
Overlord, blink twice if you are under duress."
I love your username.
That was twice. Stop lying to the people.
I blinked 3 times.
There we go. Better.
Yeah.
That's better. Did she blink a fourth?
I can't see.
I think I blinked a few times when you weren't looking.
Okay.
So, yeah.
the camera from my point of view is redacting her eyes.
Ah, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Trains and Stuff has been a member for 14 months,
Woo!
and so
yeah.
has
Toot-toot.
Piziulka.
Happy anniversary plus 2 months.
Choo choo. Sorry.
Every time you do that, it makes me think of Chocolate Rain.
Chocolate
rain.
Some say dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, Piziulka has also been a member for 14 months, and then Dr. Glorfidel for $5 says, "Just a heads up, I emailed y'all a response to Thornberry's question from last week after my super chat. No rush, thanks."
What was the question?
I don't know.
Was that about the storyboards?
Probably.
Question mark.
Incredible. The real William White has been a member for 14 months. And Waffles
Thank you.
Cowpig with an amazing username for $5 says, "Update from living on my own. Pipe
Yay.
burst.
Oh.
Ceiling has holes. Cat ripped carpet. Fourth went well. Wi-Fi is now working. PC is back up and running. Thank y'all."
Well, good for you. I'm proud of you.
That sounded like a telegram.
Yeah. Pipe burst. Stop.
Yeah, literally.
A singing telegram. Pipers. Sorry.
You gonna do a little tap dance for us too over
Yeah,
there?
yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay.
Of course I will.
Does she get paid for tap dancing?
Depends on how it is. If it's bad tap dancing, no.
I need the shoes, so that's not my problem. You gotta supply the shoes for me.
You know your boundaries, and I respect
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Trains and Stuff for $20. What a king. Says, "Can't wait to see you next weekend. I have some stuff planned. Are you still open to doing a Sunday live with some live audience? We would love to torment you on live video. Mwahaha, love Rum, Gum, JMO, and Chimp. We're planning on trying to figure it out."
We're trying to figure something out. We were supposed to have meshes set up throughout the studio. but that has not materialized because the guy we were gonna hire to do it just hasn't done it yet. Which means that it would be difficult to set it up in a way to have a live audience. What we did discuss doing, if we can't do a live show on Sunday, is just like a kind of like private like meet and greet hangout thing where, you know, out on the street for Blobfest, it's hot and, you know, people are passing by and everything. That would be kind of a, you know, later, not even the same day, but like, you know, order some pizzas, have some drinks, hang out, chat, just mingle.
Basically just like a lore lodge, like hangout, maybe movie night kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Do I get pizza?
PJ party?
Yeah, if you want to come, you're welcome to.
Holy crap.
We do a PJ party?
That would be fun.
Lore Lodge PJ party?
I can wear my shark
We
onesie.
can watch a horror movie.
Oh, it's Shark Week.
It is?
Yeah, apparently.
No
We
way.
just found out like literally yesterday after we got back from the lake. And
Oh, that makes sense. Jaws was on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, maybe we'll do a PJ party, pizza, and watch a movie, a horror movie.
yeah, I'm down for that. Did that camera? Yeah, it did. The main camera died.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Rest in peace.
Oh well. It was probably the lack of a fan. Oh well, it happens. We still have R3.
Okay.
Anyway, Rochelle P, parentheses Roro, has upgraded their membership and gave us $5 to give us some hippos.
Well, thank you.
Aw.
Also, we, as it is now past 8:15, we will not be accepting any further super chats for the
Right.
evening, but thank you.
Thank you.
We will get to that last one that I just saw that reminded me to say that. but-
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then Griff for $10 says, I'm not done yet. Been enjoying
what?
the Weird Bible podcast, so let's add some spiritual damage to the psychic damage from earlier. The message, Matthew 18:6, love y'all and Wendy enjoy the 20 bones.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm ready.
Give me the message. Let me see it. Let me read it.
Okay.
What was it?
I will
Matthew-
get mine.
It was
Fine,
Matthew what?
It was Matthew 18:6. Oh.
Oh.
Opened up to Matthew 21. That was right.
What do you know?
Also, I'm gonna reactivate that camera because I can.
I can do it.
No, it's all right. It's
Okay. All right.
I appreciate it though.
One of the subheadings here is you're not in the driver's seat.
That's amazing.
All right, 18 what?
18:6.
6.
All right, Matthew 18:6. But if you give them a hard time, bullying or taking advantage of their simple trust, you'll soon wish you hadn't. You'd be better off dropped in the middle of a lake with a millstone around your neck. Doomed to the world for giving these God-believing children a hard time. Hard times are inevitable, but you don't have to make it worse, and it's doomsday to you if you do. Well, that's not really
Real.
a great translation. Also, that's the verse that most people use to say that Jesus told us to redact pedophiles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hang on, I wanna.
Go ahead.
How much did you read through? Was it 18:6 to what?
18:6 and 7.
18:6 and 7. Okay. This one doesn't even have a 6.
Huh?
Oh, it does. It starts at 5, though, primarily. So I'm going to start at 5. Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world for temptations to sin, for it is necessary that temptations come, but woe to the man by whom the temptation comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, is this back? Oh,
I
we're
don't
still back. Anyway, moving swiftly along. Also, Weirdo Eve for Canadian $5 says, Creepcast did an 11-hour video. I call for 11-hour Weird Bible re-revelations, please. Well, I mean, Madison, I could do an 11-hour Weird Bible. I don't think
I think-
anyone could.
I think it might actually drive Isaiah insane.
I think he would actually hate us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can ask.
We can ask. Brandon Timmons from $9.99 says, hello from Maryland. First time catching a live stream. I appreciate all your content from this to Weird Bible and History Unhinged. Quick question. Any update on the Sebastian Rogers case?
There has not been an update. We did get an email that apparently a whole bunch of people are getting sued, Was it sued or criminal charges?
Actually, let me check.
I didn't totally trust the address it came from.
I made a folder, okay?
Oh,
That was one of the tasks that she'd
Got
been
it.
given. When you say a bunch of people are getting sued, you mean like people who were investigating it?
oh, like Tony Mathis, Seth Rogers.
Really?
Yeah. There's been a lot of people suing each other for stupid reasons throughout that case, which is part of the reason I haven't talked about it lately. Is it's just like back when we were talking with everybody, it was like, oh yeah, arrests are imminent. Like there's stuff that we know that we just can't release yet, but in the coming days, and then nothing happened. So,
Oh, America.
I didn't want to. I felt like there was no reason to drag Tony and Seth into that. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not sure what to think at this point.
Yeah, maybe once it concludes.
But I haven't actually talked to Tony. I might text him and ask him what's going on, but I haven't had a reason to wade in again. Also, just so many of the people involved in that whole thing are reprehensible fat scumbags who sit on their ass all day and do nothing but talk about this. And it's never anything new. It's just like...
just the same stuff regurgitated over
Yeah,
and over.
it's just like literally an obese felon who sits there throwing drama at people and calling herself Queen Bee.
Did not know she was a felon.
I think she's the one who was a felon. One of them was definitely a felon, like multiple times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This was in January. I just emailed it to you in
Oh, so this was January?
January.
Okay, so nothing happened.
Yeah, January 26th was police reports have been filed against Nick.
Oh, it was only police reports. Okay.
Tony Mathis, Seth Rogers, Hong Ji, and Brittany Jackson in Delaware County, Pennsylvania,
so
for
nothing
fraud and forgery.
Yeah, okay, so that's the stuff we even talked with Tony about. So yeah, there's nothing. But yeah, no, I haven't really checked in lately on all that. I presume that Queen Bee and whatever the hell else their names were are all still just sitting around being scumbags and talking about drama and pretending it's about a missing child. I think they're all bad people. Yeah, Cluminati, that's who it was. They're all bad people.
Speaking of case updates, where do we sit on revisiting John Bonet again? The last one didn't do horribly.
Yeah, no, probably once we get back from Yellowstone, I'll do another update to that. I'm going to try and do either a really long one, or my hope is that I can get all of the reading for the Meriwether Lewis one done. That's probably going to be a 2-part. And then hopefully I can get myself ahead by enough of a stretch to do a really long Jean Bonnet video or get 2 of them done, see how things go.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I am itching for that one.
Yeah.
It's one of the few ones I actually care about
Yeah.
deeply.
Arbor Irrigation Installer for 223 says, y'all are now Twink Aiden, Twunk Aiden, and Pretty Aiden.
See, I told you I was pretty, Aiden.
Okay.
Fair.
Thank you.
I did meet a girl named Aiden in college. It is a name that can be applied to women, apparently.
I also met a girl named Aiden in college.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know a girl, Elliot, but that's about it.
Although the girl Aiden I knew spelled it with a Y.
The one I met spelled it the exact same way as me.
That's
Awesome.
wild.
Yeah. Met her on Tinder, of all places. It was a weird... She had like the same complexion, color, and everything as me, too. It was strange.
What was your line?
I don't remember. It was like 6 years ago.
I'm just saying your name was Aiden.
Whatever it was,
Her
it
name
didn't
was
work.
Aiden. Our
Whatever
name
it was, it didn't work. I met Amanda on Tinder, though.
Fair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tinder, where dreams come true. And also where you get swiped left on a lot and it kind of hurts your self-esteem.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not.
Worked for me, though.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah.
I'm hoping that Tinder will sponsor the engagement party. I think they need the good
The
PR.
engagement party.
I was going to say, is that a
Huh?
thing people do?
Engagement parties?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, actually.
I'm still on the engagement part because I didn't.
Oh, well, we haven't gotten engaged yet, but it's coming.
It's imminent.
It's imminent.
Okay.
She knows. She knows this. There's a ring. There is a ring.
Wow.
I'm realizing this may be technically breaking news for most people watching the show.
That's possible. Yeah, I'm getting married, guys.
Eventually.
Probably within the next 18 months, be my guess.
That's been kind of the rolling plan in theory.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it.
As you should be.
Yeah. I've told basically everyone we know the date that the engagement is happening except for her. And this drives her insane, which is why I do it.
You'd think she wouldn't want to know. The surprise is part of the fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, she doesn't want to know. She's just frustrated that everybody else does.
Oh, I see.
FOMO.
I love her so much.
That's what matters the most.
Aw.
Hurricane Maddie says for $2, will you talk about the Babylonian IRS demons?
See, like, I saw Babylonian and I saw demons, and I was like, yes, actually, I've been looking to do a video on, Semitic demonology, which covers Babylonian and Jewish. I was not ready for IRS. I don't think that the IRS, I don't think that IRS agents are possessed by demons. And part of the reason I want to point that out is because I don't want to give them an out.
Valid.
They're
noble.
Now here's the thing. IRS agents aren't people. And if I were to ever do something silly, that would be my defense in court.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Remember, everybody, ostracize your local IRS agent. Everybody's like, well, Matthew was a tax collector, and then he stopped. He wasn't a tax collector while he followed the Lord. And what does this tell us? That to follow the Lord, you must stop collecting taxes. Therefore, you cannot be a Christian IRS agent.
Wow.
It's just logic, folks.
Yes.
No, it's beyond logic.
Also, if it wasn't Matthew, I'm going to be really embarrassed.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think it was
think
Matthew.
it is.
I'm pretty sure it's Matthew.
My mom's watching The Chosen right now, and I think that's what they're on. So.
Yeah. No, if you know a tax collector, remember that the most American thing you can do is bully them.
That's true. I guess that technically is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Kellen, the official data for $4.99 says, as one waiting for the rear seat delete kit for my Jeep to be delivered, I understand your pain and frustration.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Rear seat delete kit?
Yeah, why would you need a kit for that? Just take them out.
Yeah, that's
It's
what's
like
got
a
me.
camping situation, like a bed.
Are you doing the thing where you are you getting the thing that transitions your Wrangler Unlimited to having a pickup bed? Is that what it is?
Kellen, just put that in the regular channel.
Kellen, just get a Gladiator.
There's also that. Also, the Rude Canadian for Canadian 543 says, Thornbussy's FedEx story sounds like the average work ethic in Canada Post.
Yeah, but FedEx is at least a, private company.
Yeah.
You expect private companies to have a little bit more urgency.
You would think.
They don't care.
No. Are they what is the word for that? When they get tax money. Subsidized. Are they subsidized?
I don't believe so.
I'm a little shocked based on their means of work.
Someone tell David Politis. I'm sure he'll have a tweet about this.
Oh yeah, wait, can we just gaslight David Politis into thinking that FedEx is behind all of it?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, they've got to be transporting the
Bigfoot
people
is
somehow.
driving
Exactly.
the FedEx truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but FedEx is just carting them around the national parks to kidnap people, and they're
Yep.
using the FedEx truck.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. It all makes sense now.
We cracked the code.
Brilliant. All right, next.
Arbor Irrigation installer for 556 Nice says, who do y'all think is the most based muscle mommy in scripture? Jael Judith or the woman of Thebes who killed Abimelech? You're going to know this way better than I will.
I have enough things to confess already. I can't wade into this. I cannot be referring to women in the Bible as muscle mommies.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, what's inherently wrong with that? It's just
Uh,
weird.
Absolutely nothing.
Who was it? Jael, Judith, and
The woman of Thebes.
who killed Abimelech?
Yes.
I feel like it's got to be the latter.
Because she actually put
I'm going to be honest, I'm not up on my Jail and Judith lore at the moment. It's been a while.
That's fair. What if Bathsheba was a muscle mommy and that explains everything?
I love that name.
David was man of culture.
I hate you.
Now you know how Isaiah feels.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while.
As you do that, Tyler Dalrymple for 556, another great donation, says FedEx is the worst shipping company that
That's why I was
exists.
confused.
Oh,
It's,
you weren't
it's
home at
'cause
11 a.m.?
Judith is deuterocanonical, and I grew up.
Yeah,
I grew up with the 66 book canon.
That'll do it. Yeah, and he said, "Oh, you weren't at home at 11 a.m. on Monday? I'll just bring it back tomorrow at the exact same time." Yeah, the downside there is that I was home, and I was quite literally checking the door probably every 30 seconds. A little tough to work like that, but, you know, we persevered. Nonetheless, Rochelle P. Row gave us
Oh, you know what? No, it's Judith.
a little wave.
It's
Yeah.
Judith.
Why is it Judith?
I just reread it. It was Judith. She cuts a dude's head off.
Oh, that's pretty metal.
And here's the thing: like you'd be surprised how much force that takes.
Okay.
Do you know
What did I go to school for?
medieval history?
Yes, and what did they do a lot of in the Middle Ages?
I would imagine beheadings.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have
You
imagined.
know how often they did not go all the way through on the first strike? There's a reason the guillotine exists.
No,
That's
I
why
know.
they had to cut people's hair.
Yeah, there's a reason they used really big axes for it, and that swords are really only used in movies.
And even the swords there are like insanely
Ice.
large swords. Yeah.
Yeah. Like two-handers. Yeah, no, executioners primarily used heavy, very sharp axes because the goal was to basically use the downward momentum and the weight.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The spinal column is pretty tough. Especially if you come at it from like the fleshy side, you can get all hung up. And
Yep.
I didn't really want to talk about this on a Monday evening. But, you know, here I am.
You made an interesting choice in internship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, we move swiftly along. Jason Einstein for 666 says, suggestion for History Unhinged. Would love to see Chris from Vlogging Through History.
Okay.
Possible topic would be English history or the U.S. Civil War.
ooh, I'm gonna put out something right now on that channel, asking people to recommend creators that they would like to see on.
That'd be great.
Because we are at the point now where we have the funding for that show to do that. And by the funding, I don't mean that the show has been funded. I mean that we have made enough money to start flying people out here.
We quite literally haven't spent any of the money from
for
it.
those of you who have been watching History Unhinged, oh my God, you guys have been financially supportive.
Yeah, you guys have been instrumental in us actually being able to afford to get guests out here.
History Unhinged on Patreon makes as much money as the Lore Lodge on Patreon, with
Wow.
a tiny fraction of the subscribership
Mm.
that it has on YouTube.
Also, would you guys like having ad-free versions of the Friday videos on Patreon?
Yeah, would you pay $1 a month to get ad-free versions of the videos is basically the question.
Yeah. Because it's a little extra work for me. It's just figuring out if the time added into my week is worth it. Because if it is, we'll absolutely do it. But just want to make sure people would actually be interested in that. In the meantime, Corn Festival dude for $5 says, asking Mattis if he knows the Messingholican. It's the Lenape mask
Fest
spirit.
again?
No. It's the Lenape mask spirit. Its association with Bigfoot seems like a recent thing.
I feel like this was a question recently as well.
I don't know.
Something about a Lenape mask spirit.
I wouldn't be shocked. Does it sound familiar?
What was
to you
it?
at all? It's called the Messingholican.
How is that spelled?
Messingholikan. Messingholian.
The Lenape mask spirit, a powerful sacred medicine spirit who maintains the balance of nature and appears to Lenape men in dreams. I have not heard of this, but I am certainly willing to look into it.
Add it to the sheet.
Dude, I wish the algorithm was more forgiving to the videos that we've done about history and folklore, because, like, I would love to do a video on the Comanche. I would love to do a video on the Lenape and just, like, go through it. I would love to do a video on... The Jamestown one is kind of going to be a litmus test for it and see how that goes, because that's not really unsolved anything. It's going to be about, like, obviously it's going to be, was there really cannibalism at Jamestown? The answer is yes. But it's going to go into, like, the circumstances that created that and the background and the local native cultures and, basically use the cannibalism as a vessel to talk about Jamestown.
It'd be cool.
Yeah. And then one day I can just do a giant video on the colonization of the Americas.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Just, like, start with like, English colonization, but, like, start with Roanoke and then go through Jamestown and Plymouth and...
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's what we were going to do on History Hut, but we just didn't have the time.
Yeah. Never happened.
Yeah. Eric for $5 says, should Christians view Saint Olaf as a positive figure? It's hard to justify his wars and his canonization events. Canonization seems like a stunt. Asking as an Anglican.
Ooh. Answering as a Methodist, because I am not going to answer anything as an Anglican after that debate. Still working on it. Still a catechumen in the Anglican Church, just not going to answer anything from the as an Anglican position, because I was forced to do that and was not prepared for it. The Protestant in me, the Methodist in me says maybe the Catholic Church canonized a few too many people for some not so great things. Olaf was a Nordic warrior. He was definitely instrumental to the Christianization of the Nordics. He also did some incredibly violent things. I personally would not have sainted him, is what I'll say. The nice thing is that I don't think that you have to necessarily actively venerate all saints just because the Catholic Church declared them to be that. And when you get into the medieval history of it all, there are definitely some people who the church should not have raised up to that position. And there's a number of saints who derive from pagan gods, like, I would say you don't need to necessarily approve of Olaf being a saint. And you can recognize that certain historical decisions were made for reasons that made sense at the time, but in hindsight are probably not things you need to feel good about or defend.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Franklin for $5 says, you mean it's not canon that all of Dante Alighieri's personal enemies are in hell?
No. No. Also, I gotta make sure I'm thinking of the right Olaf, because there were multiple Olafs. Am I mixing him up with somebody? Keep going.
In the meantime, yeah, Wyatt Ledford for $10 says, Salam alaikum. All three stages of Aiden. I've been watching you all for a while and was wondering if I can send you all ammo and bourbon.
Yes. I'll take ammo and bourbon.
I'll take the bourbon.
I need some 308.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't even used that yet.
No.
Have you?
I almost brought it over to just show it off, but I thought that might scare the intern.
That's fair. She nods in agreement. That was a smart move.
Yeah.
I may be mixing. I might be mixing things up in my mind between Olaf and Olaf Tryggvason.
Fair.
So
TIE Fighter 4100 gave us $50 and says, I'm so glad I returned back to y'all's live stream in time for my favorite topic after a few months. Good luck with your camera situation. I feel for you because my drones get delivered with FedEx and they never seem to show up on time. Yeah, I appreciate it very much. It is extremely annoying. This generation and their phones.
I'm trying to go back and...
No, I know. In the meantime, Eleanor Howler Werewolf Queen for $49.99. Thank you very much. Says, number one, you missed my chat last week. Would you
I was
check
not.
that?
I was not mixing things up.
Fair.
Yeah.
Ellen, I can't check it right now, but if you throw it in the chat on the side, I should be able to see it. Number two, use this for research. Will do. Number three, would you consider making your own version of Missing 411 that's not built on lies? I would argue that's our channel.
We kind of have, yeah. At first, we played around with calling it Into Thin Air, which, I mean, kind of still works.
Yeah, I mean, I guess doing it as Into Thin Air, we would essentially just have to do the cases without referencing Missing 411, just doing the raw data, essentially.
And that's the thing, too, is I don't think we need to do that because the whole crux of Missing 411 is that the cases are connected.
Yeah.
And we're not arguing they are.
Almost all of them are not.
Yeah, so I think we are doing our own version of it, just... I mean, if the question is like, would we do cases that potentially are connected? If I found a connection, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just don't see one.
Yeah, most cases we seem to see people believing are connected generally are not.
Yeah. There are a few smiley face killers ones that look to me like there might be a connection. But that's like specifically the ones between, I think, like 2002 and 2008 in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I don't know how many new bodies showed up in Lady Bird Lake recently.
No, but I mean, we looked at 24 of them, and there were only like 3 that looked like they could potentially be connected.
Exactly, that's the thing.
And there wasn't anything in common between the victimology, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was, of all of them that we looked at, I think there was only 2 or 3 that had even remote similarities.
Yeah.
The last one that Elena said was, are there any updates on more recent cases you've covered, like Tommy Booth?
No. We are going to probably revisit Tommy Booth's case at some point. I have the case file, and I just haven't gotten around to going through it.
Yeah. Maybe next anniversary.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the email that, like, I guess this was vaguely smiley face killers. It was about Pittsburgh, and they were like, I had a weird experience one time where I was on the bridge where a bunch of people were found, and
I think I saw
there was
that
this
one.
Weird guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's connected, but here you go.
Pittsburgh, I think, might actually have something going on.
Yeah, 100%.
Not even necessarily with specifically all the smiley face killers cases we looked at in the area, but there's I've heard some things. I haven't corroborated them yet, so I don't want to go too far into it, but I've heard some weird things about Pittsburgh.
Fair enough.
Haven't we?
Do not go out in Pittsburgh as a young man and go off on your own, is all I would say.
Yeah, not a smart move. In really any city.
Yeah. Try and stick to the buddy system as much as possible. Take Ubers. Don't walk home alone.
Really quickly, to all of those saying happy early birthday to me in the chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Couple of days away.
Yeah, 2 days.
Wow. Also, your anniversary's coming up soon.
This is true. This is very true. So is yours.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Jeez, guys, could you be any more similar?
And Amanda's birthday.
Yeah. A lot of things happen in July at the lodge.
Yeah.
Anyway, Big Daddy Wags for $5 says, Thorny, I'm mad at you trying to make plans with my husband, and he's scheduling me in around you. I was going to call to complain, but you're working. From Bex.
I figured that was Becky.
Yeah.
Becky, we need to know if we can go to the Poconos, please.
Yeah, we were absolutely down to go to the Poconos whenever. Also, yeah, she's talking about when we're actually going to be able to get time to shoot our bows.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do that, and we haven't done it since I bought mine. So, sorry, Bex.
We met Brian and Becky at Blobfest.
Literally the same day we met you.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
You, too, as a viewer of this show, may become friends with us by meeting us at Blobfest.
Yes.
But don't expect to, because it might not happen.
Yeah, no.
In fact, statistically, it probably won't.
Yeah. But we're going to be nice.
But we will be nice to you. Next question.
Kellen, the official data for 199 says, never mind, UPS just dropped it off.
Well, see, good for you.
'Cause it
Must
was
be nice
UPS.
to be Kellen.
Must be nice to be able to actually use. Actually, wait, yeah, no. The lenses today, that was UPS. They got dropped off, no problem. I was even able to change online. They needed a signature. I was like, no, I'm not going to be there. No problem. They updated it. Easy.
Yep, FedEx. Clock's ticking.
Yep. Mads for $4.99 says, using my first super chat to plead for y'all to turn Sophie's mic up. I did. I did turn it up. Just bring it a little closer.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me, Mads. Can you hear me?
My God.
Can you hear me now?
I love that you
Can you hear me?
know that reference.
Okay, bye.
Incredible. Arbory Irrigation Installer for $2 says, Happy 4th. My name is in reference to the Tree of Liberty quote. Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Vendetta XM for $10 says, David is absolutely grifting. On a lighter note, tips on parking for Blobfest. Yeah.
Get here early.
Yeah, get here early. There's
my
a lot.
God.
There is a lot of parking in this town. However, on a normal weekend, it is taken up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I honestly would not. I would say that you might, if you're staying at a hotel, first of all, like if you're coming into town and staying at a hotel, Uber here.
Yeah.
Do not drive here. If you are local but not like familiar with Phoenixville, there are parking lots outside of town, like not super far out, like like the giant parking lot.
Yeah, and even still, there's a lot of street parking that's just like several blocks away from Bridge Street that you will be able to find.
What I was going to say is if you don't want to try and deal with the quagmire that is finding parking in this town when it's busy, park in a shopping center or something like that, and then Uber into town. Because you're going to... That's a surefire way to make sure that you have parking.
Yeah, the whole weekend is going to be extremely busy, and the fact that we close our main street off every weekend anyway already makes it tough to navigate. So when you've got that many people added in on top of that are also taking up parking, it's just, it's going to be tough.
I'm just going to get dropped off.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best move. James Hirata for $4.99 says, I've read one of Politis' Bigfoot books, in parentheses, where he gathered stories from the Hoopa tribe in northern Cali.
Yeah, that's the Project Hoopa or something like that. The Hoopa Project.
Yep.
Yeah, the Hoopa Project. Sightings of Bigfoot in California, I believe.
Yep. It has an orange cover.
We're familiar with it.
We are.
I haven't read it, but...
And James finishes it off by saying, and funny enough, it's actually pretty decent.
I believe that. I believe his Bigfoot stuff is probably not bad. I just think he shouldn't try and squeeze Bigfoot into missing persons cases.
Generally a good idea.
He even said that book is why the ranger approached him to tell him that he should be investigating missing people. Like, it's obvious he's trying to cram Bigfoot into missing 411.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Next is for $10 says, if you wrote Missing 411, how would you structure it? Also, shout out to the Truth Enforcers, Best Helldivers faction.
Ooh, I did not know that Truth Enforcers was a faction.
Well, the tough thing is that if we wrote Missing 411...
We wouldn't write it.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't exist because there is no correlation.
If I wrote a book, let's say if I were to write a book on strange missing persons cases, I would probably structure it not by... I would probably differentiate between cases where people were found, cases where people weren't found, cases where people were found dead, and cases where people were found alive. So first of all, I would not include all of those in the same situation. Because there are varying factors with each of those that are important. A person who's found alive can tell you things. A person who's not found alive can't tell you things. And a person who's not found, you have the fewest explanations for anything at all. So I'd probably differentiate it that way. And then I also would... I probably would break it up. Yeah, that's the thing, is I would start there. That's the answer to the question, is I would start by breaking up into people who just disappeared, people who were found dead, and people who were found alive. And I would not, I can't say where I'd go from that point because I'd have to see what I find.
But that is the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the right way to break things up, rather than here's all these people that went missing.
Yep.
What happened to them?
Because when you start with geography, you start, at a certain point, you're going to be like, well, I mean, this one's not that weird, but it did happen in close proximity to this one that was kind of weird, so maybe it is weird. Like, and you start lowering your bar for what counts. And I think that's kind of where we end up with Missing 411 is the bar for what counts ends up being, was it in the same general area? Like, all these people disappeared near granite. And the only thing around all of these people was granite.
This is starting to feel like David Politis might be like the, what was Steve Carell's character in The Office?
Michael Scott.
Michael
Yeah.
Scott.
I'm feeling like he's the Michael Scott of private investigating.
Oh, God. No, because at least Michael Scott was good at what he did. He won Best Salesman 2 years in a row.
And he was a good man.
What's a better version then?
I don't know. This was your analogy.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough of The Office to be able to make
That's a
it
problem. Amanda and I have been watching through it recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sleep on it, Aiden.
Fair enough. I'll think about it. Sam Swope for 1999 says, Mattis, favorite chocolate milk brand?
Ooh.
I have an answer for that, but I will wait for you.
You can say it.
Okay. It's between two. It's that glass bottle you can get at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Delicious. And Trader Joe's has quite a similar one for a smaller price point, and it's in a paper thing. Carton. Very delicious.
I believe you. Hands down, the creamery at Penn State.
Mmm.
Fair enough.
Never had better chocolate milk.
Nice.
I mean, as far as like stuff you can get mass market, I don't know.
Fair.
I usually make my own chalky milk, or I get it from Whole Foods or Wegmans, and those are usually like local.
What's your
creameries.
recipe? What's your recipe?
Oh, I don't have a recipe. I just use Hershey syrup.
That's a recipe.
Yeah, it's Hershey syrup and whole milk. That's it.
Mm.
Ooh, with a little bit of half and half on top. Keep it creamy.
Now we're talking.
Love me some chalky milk.
That you do, and strawberry.
And strawberry milk. Big fan of strawberry milk
Should
as well.
people bring you milk again this year?
If they would like to.
Do you think our cooler will survive after Blobfest this year?
Bring it in a thermos.
Do you remember what happened last year?
No.
The cooler that was banished to the basement.
Oh, that's from Blobfest?
That's from Blobfest.
Oh, is it still down there?
I think so.
We need to incinerate that thing.
I know.
Is there liquid in there?
There is liquid and organisms.
Yeah, we had a cooler.
We're too afraid. Well, here's the problem. I'm afraid to carry it out of there alone, and he's deathly allergic to mold.
Me too.
So
I mean, we could throw.
also, I just
that
don't know what I would
on.
do. I don't know where to put it.
No, we would have to find some dumpster. We'd have to. Put
We'd
it
have
in the
to
back of one of
active.
our
Yeah, we'd
trucks.
have to like strap it around, keep it closed, and take it to a dump.
Yeah. Maybe like duct tape the seams as well.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
bad,
officially a
guys.
biohazard. It's pretty bad.
It's
So
there are diseases in there that mankind cannot comprehend.
We probably created, I'm not going to say the word, but 2.0.
Yeah.
okay. Right. So what I'm
Like
hearing
if-
is I should never go in the basement.
No, you can go in the basement as long as it remains closed, but if it does get opened, it might create The Last of Us.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam.
Anyone who disposes of the cooler gets a t-shirt.
Nice. Effectively. Dispose of it effectively and does not get us.
Get knighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Knighted by the lodge.
I have a sword over there.
It's true. Sam Swope followed up with, there's a few more questions in this one. Thornberry, favorite non-alcoholic beverage? I don't really drink much other than water and coffee. I'm not going to lie.
It's true, you don't.
Yeah, we'll have drinks when we go out, but, oh, Christian, yes, we do very much want the fan.
Yes, we want the fan.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about that yesterday, actually.
Please give us the fan.
Yeah, we're very much gonna need it. Yeah, I don't know, coffee, I guess, or water. I don't know. I mean, like, I enjoy a good Sprite or 7-Up.
I think, yeah, that's like for. I would be torn between probably lemonade.
Mm.
If we're talking about cold drinks, lemonade, iced coffee, or chocolate milk.
What about yourself?
I feel like there's a lot of different ways I could go. Soda-wise, I'm a
Root
big
beer.
fan of root beer.
Root beer.
All right, root beer's delicious. I've started to accept Diet Coke into my life.
Well, you're going to need to unaccept that if you want to continue working here.
All right, I'm sorry.
What's wrong
Sorry
with
about that.
Diet Coke?
Tastes bad.
It's an acquired taste.
I'm a Pepsi guy anyway, so.
Anyway,
I don't have a choice. That's all. My dad only gets Coke Zero and Diet Coke.
I'm so sorry.
Lemonade, specifically Simply Lemonade. We on the same page
Good
there?
stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I am also a fan of iced coffee. That's just how it has to be. Hot chocolate. A peppermint hot chocolate is a delicacy that I will enjoy for the rest of my life. And I know that's a hot drink, but I feel as though it was important to mention.
I mean, just because it's summer doesn't mean the hot drinks are any less valid.
Yeah.
Get cold.
Yeah. Also, there's more to this one. Also, when can I catch you guys at Blobfest? Will we be able to meet Archie and Ella too? Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. Yeah, we're going to have a booth. I was looking for where our booth is supposed to be.
It'll be somewhere on Bridge Street.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to have, like, there are numbers. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll put something out on Discord and on YouTube on the day of the event to tell you where to find us. As for Archie and Ella, they will probably be out there at times, but depending, I can't imagine it's going to be cool enough for them to be out there for more than like 30 or 40 minutes at a time.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal last year.
So they'll be hanging out now and then, but probably not like the whole day.
Yeah, that's fair. Jamo, the preacher of the milk for $5 says, all these fanboys in here absolutely something for their Bigfoot daddies, but they can't beat us, Wendy Goon.
Okay.
Our mental illness can't be beat. You're absolutely right.
Brother, nobody's going to argue with you there. All right, what's left? There's a few more.
Yeah, Honors Place for 1911. Nice says, do you think cryptids could be demons that we stripped the fear from with pop culture / media? I thought as a Christian, my intrigue in cryptids would give me a bad look, but the Bible is so paranormal.
I think there's a few here and there that like you could see as demonic entities, but for the most part, I would say most cryptids are probably the result of people not understanding things.
Yeah. Or just making things up.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from folklore, and a lot of things from folklore were eventually explained by modern like taxonomy. So I think there are cryptids, not so much as things like ghosts and spirits and those like hauntings, like that kind of paranormal stuff. I think there's a much greater argument for like demonic entities. When it comes to cryptids, I think it's mostly animals, tribes of people that looked significantly different, things like that.
Mm-hmm. I would love for us to do a series or at least a video on some of the folklore elements and tropes and what their real life basis likely was, like salt, silver.
That could be fun.
Yeah, because like both of those essentially were just means of purifying things.
Yeah.
So, you have something.
Salt preserves things too.
Exactly. Salt preserves it. Silver is naturally semi-antibacterial. Yep. Same thing with copper. So, a lot of things like that, when they didn't have the knowledge and science to explain it, makes sense. Jamie, the preacher of the milk says, please Sunday live show, please, 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 please.
It really depends on if it's something that we could make happen.
At the very least, we'll do a movie.
At the very least, we'll have people over to the lodge and we'll hang out.
Yeah.
Let's watch Jurassic Park.
You're gonna make Cat's Day if that's what we do.
Pajamas, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's if she's not too engulfed.
I'm tempted to force everybody to watch Zombievers, but
that's fair. If she's not too engulfed in her what's the name of the thing that I said she had?
Oh, her emulator?
Yeah, if she's not too engulfed in that right now, she's probably extremely happy. Special Bones for $10 says, "Hey Aidens, just wanted to say I love your videos. I'm a night shift nurse, and it helps me get through those early hours. See you at Blobfest."
Oh, thank you.
Happy to be seeing you soon. And
Yeah.
thank you for doing the job that you do. That's a real job, much more so than
Much more than our job
Thank
is.
you
So,
for your service.
Yeah, thank you for
Wonderful.
dealing with life. That is a difficult and hard one. Appreciate it. Unalived Monroe is a new member.
Thank you. What a name.
It is what a name. Clear Artworks. Oh, we just.
Oh my God, there's so many.
I know we skipped.
So many.
I know. For $2 says, "Any good audiobook recommendations?" If I'm reading, I usually read.
Yeah, I usually just read. I will say, The Lord of the Rings, there is a great narration by Andy Serkis.
So what were we gonna say?
I was on that same note. I feel like sometimes I'll read like old books like Wuthering Heights, or even like I like to hear like a Pride and Prejudice performed.
Yeah.
If you ever get bored by like old books and you're like, these words are semi unintelligible to me, just listen to an audiobook version of that, and it's a good experience, I'd say.
Cool. Stickfingered987 for $4.99 says, "Hey, I'm in Collegeville and would love to buy y'all a round or two and chat history."
Yeah, come on down for
Bye.
Blobfest, and then also, you can usually just find us out and about on the weekends.
Yeah. If it's a weekend in Phoenixville that we're not away for some reason, you'll probably find us.
Yeah, we frequent a select few bars here, like Bistro, Molly's, Boardroom.
Yeah.
We're usually at one of those places.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Mads for $4.99 says, "Y'all mentioned being ahead in planning videos. Do you have any more MMIW videos planned?"
There are some cases I want to look at. Yeah. They're not like in the immediate pipeline, but yeah, there are a few.
Nice. The Nerdiest Geek has been a member for 7 months. And Edward the Chinchilla for $17.76, nice, says, "On the topic of conspiracies, what are your favorites? Mine is Mattis definitely not being the leader of a cult. Also, can we make a fund goal to force Mattis to read Berserk?"
Oh my God. Conspiracies. Ooh. I mean, I will say that the Adam and Eve story one by Chan Thomas is one of my favorites because it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is fun.
That's a fun one. I think either that or that the Templars escape to America.
Why that one?
Just because it's fun.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. So, if you got any?
I think this is a conspiracy theory as much as it's just a random unexplained thing that happened that always comes to my mind, but the Sandown ghost clown,
Oh, yeah.
that thing, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, I
Mike?
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know, that just fascinates me.
Fair.
It's you can watch something on it if you
That
want.
reminds me, we should do a video on the clown epidemic
Oh my
that occurred in
God.
2016.
Oh, I was present at one of the State College clown riots.
Were you really?
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was just reminded by scrolling through TikTok a couple days ago that, like, oh yeah, there are still like living like victims with like maim scars from when that happened.
I didn't realize there were actually clowns.
Oh yeah, no, apparently it
We
wasn't.
just had a mass hysteria incident that
Yeah.
ended with a Lord of the Flies situation with shirtless dudes calling for the death of the clowns.
No, there were like people dressing up as clowns and like they actively committed acts of violence.
Oh.
Like random places. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like there was this one woman who literally like her spine, she had like hacked in with an axe, and she's still alive. She's okay now.
Oh?
Yeah, no, this was like an
All
actual
right.
thing.
Okay, I guess we're looking at the clowns.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot that it was such
Everybody
like,
loves
real
a clown.
thing. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of the conspiracies thing, though, I don't know. I liked. I'm thoroughly entertained by the Freemason one because you are one.
Yeah.
But
it's really mostly just dudes.
yeah.
It's just guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes.
But otherwise, I think the one that I like the most is most of the conspiracies I like are the ones I no longer think are conspiracies. They just are. But
Mhm.
the fact, like like LBJ and a bunch of the people in the United States government, like started Vietnam in order to
Yeah.
make money. It was basically the proto-Iraq War. That's my favorite because it's like, yeah, we need more attention on this. Cause
Yep. Well, as we know, also, there was no Epstein list, Aiden.
oh yeah, of course, no, obviously.
You know.
But
According to Attorney General Pam Bondi, who just a few weeks ago said that she had the Epstein list on her desk for review.
Yes.
There is no Epstein list.
Yes. This list that we've been talking about for years now.
Yeah, no.
Mandela effect. All right, it says the Mandela effect.
Here's what I think we do. We keep firing attorney generals until one of them admits it's real.
And then when they admit it's real, well, then what?
I don't know. That one gets like a gift card to Buc-ee's.
And if they don't release the list, they don't get tarred and feathered. But the next one that supplants them, if they don't release the list, they get tarred and feathered, and then everybody after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we do like the Game of Thrones shame for the people on the list? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Guys, just I don't know if there's any government people watching. God, we know, guys. Like, we know there's a list.
We also assume that if you don't acknowledge that there's a list, that you're on it,
or at the very least that somebody who's in charge of you is on it.
Yeah. Remember, whistleblowers are not a problem. They are honored.
And a solution. They are a solution.
Yes. Sir Half Inch for $5. That's a wild username. Okay. Says, went from podcast episode 1 to 66 in like 4 weeks at work. Wow. Speaking of whistleblowers, now I get to see this episode live. I'm loving my vacation week so far.
Aww.
Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
We love that you're loving it.
Glad that you're spending your time with us.
Yeah, seriously, we're honored. Edward the Chinchilla for $5 says, P.S. Sophie looks eerily similar to someone I've met before.
Is that the same person who said that they met someone who looked like me at a graduation party?
It'd be funny if it wasn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to get that a lot from old men, and I was like, do I just look like a prostitute who like frequented bars in New York? And
why do you assume that the old men were comparing you to a prostitute?
Because they all knew who I...
What?
I'm not like a famous person. Yeah.
But why'd you assume it was a prostitute? Not like a bartender or a...
Yeah, that's valid as well. That's valid as well.
Some friend's daughter, like... You immediately went to hooker.
I feel like it was more the way that they looked at me. The vibe of the situation was like, we did it once.
I'd be very curious to see you talk to a therapist about this.
I have.
Okay.
Oh, God. This is a show.
I just realized I have had nothing to eat but a peanut butter and jelly sandwich today, and that's probably why my head hurts.
Yeah, I'm so hungry right now.
My head pork.
Yeah. I made a whole, ham dinner for Kat and I. And yes,
lunch, dinner, okay.
Yes, yeah, you got it.
Linner? I hardly know her.
Yeah, but now I'm really hungry again.
Yeah, I got meatballs waiting for me.
I know a good place to get brisket. Sorry.
No, now I'm hungry. What?
It's delicious. It's I have to look it up. But they have a really good brisket sandwich with cheddar cheese on it. Oh, baby.
Are we talking like Mission Barbecue?
No.
Dude, I could go for some Mission Barbecue soon.
No, it's like a small... Ooh, Mission Barbecue has like mustard barbecue sauce now. It's so good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got to get over to Mission sometime soon. We got to make it our mission.
That's the thing. We said it like a month ago, and then we just never did it.
I think the girls didn't want to go. You know what we do? We get the boys together. You, me, Brian, Nick, Trent, Brian. There are 2 Brians. There are 2 A's. Yeah, there's 6 of us and only 4 names.
It's so true.
Yeah. So we just got to get the boys together and go devour meat.
Get the boys around.
Go get meat with the boys.
Sounds like a phenomenal time. I'm not going to lie.
Me and the boys.
Are you feeling left out, Soph?
Yeah.
If you can convince the gals to come, I mean, you could theoretically
Why
come.
are they against it? Because it's Mission Barbecue or because of the meat?
I think it's just so much meat.
Yeah.
I love a Mission Barbecue. Unfortunately.
Is she one of the guys?
No.
I don't know.
I mean, you can bring me some.
That's true, yeah.
I'm cool.
We'll see. We'll consider it.
Yeah.
Let's finish these out. I need to eat my meatballs.
I know.
I'm hungry.
I don't blame you in the slightest. Edward the Chinchilla for $5 says, P.S. Oh, wait, we just did that one. And then the real William White for $2.43 says, how much to read Ice Planet Barbarians?
No idea what that is.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I know what you're talking about.
How bad is it?
I think it's like smut.
Oh?
Am I right? It could either be like some theory about an actual
Christian
ice
says he
planet,
wants in on the meat bender.
or
Christian, you're
it's,
always welcome to the
or
meat
it's
vendor.
this book that I heard about once where like the main guy is like a tall blue alien Nordic looking guy, and he like hooks up with the girl whose spaceship crashes.
Okay, yep, they are erotica.
All right, there we go.
I was so excited. Oh my god.
What?
In the series, we have, beginning in 2015, Ice Planet Barbarians, Barbarian Alien, Barbarian Lover, Barbarian Mine, Ice Planet Holiday, Barbarian Surprise, Barbarian's Mate, Barbarian's Touch, Barbarian's Taming, Barbarian's Heart, Barbarian's Hope, Barbarian's Choice, Barbarian's Redemption, Barbarian's Lady, Barbarian's Rescue, Barbarian's Tease, The Barbarian Before Christmas, Barbarian's Beloved, Barbarian's Valentine, Barbarian's Seduction, Barbarian's Treasure, and Barbarian's Bride. These were
All
written
that before
all
they got
between
married.
2015 and 2021.
You know what's impressive about that? AI was not used at that point. So they all had to have been actually written by somebody.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's just
wow.
that's
In 2021, Ice Planet Barbarians was the 5th most sold book on Amazon for a week.
That's insane. That's just money printer go burr.
The series follows a group of human women who crash land and become.
Yes, yep.
Say it.
The series follows a group of human women who crash land and become stranded on Not Hoth, an ice planet, where they meet a tribe of large blue-skinned aliens called the Sack.
You're kidding.
In the first book, Georgie, the de facto leader of the women, is drawn to Vectal, the leader of the tribe. The Ice Planet Barbarian series was completed in 2021. I'm not gonna lie, guys. We might have to read some of these for Patreon.
I was gonna
or
say,
History
there's gonna be a
Unhinged
Patreon.
I'm so
Patreon.
down for that. Can we like perform it?
That sounds fun. Who wants to see us perform this?
A dramatic reading of Ice Planet Okay.
No, like yeah, basically like a table read.
I'm putting this on my resume if we do it.
Ice Planet Barbarians.
Might have to then.
X-
Also, Kat is watching, and she did say, "I've been spoiled by good Southern barbecue, so chain Northeast again barbecue just isn't worth it to me."
That's true. But,
Yeah, but,
Kat, the mustard barbecue sauce is really good and authentic because the first time I had it was in Kentucky, and then I came back and I was like, "Holy crap, they have it here," and it was very good. But I can't speak to the, you know.
there are some utterly fantastic quotes from Ice Planet Barbarians.
I believe it. Really quickly before you read any, I have been to the South now multiple times. Most of the barbecue I've gotten in the South is not as good as Mission Barbecue.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like a shame, but it's nice because it's right down the road.
Yeah, there's like one spot that I've gotten barbecue that was better than Mission Barbecue, and it was like in rural Georgia. It was great. But I don't live in rural Georgia, so I'm going to enjoy what I have, yeah.
This is amazing.
Tell me.
I don't know if this is supposed to be a serious series.
With the names, there's no way.
I can't read these on air.
Right.
I can read this one, and I will do it as we do whenever we read erotica, which doesn't happen frequently around here.
Becoming more frequent, apparently.
In the Trump voice.
Oh, yeah.
A Great Dane can still make a Chihuahua pregnant, Liz points out. Guess which one you are. You ever see Star Wars, the original ones? Don't tell me. Yep, it looks like we landed on fucking Hoth. Except I see 2 itty-bitty suns and a huge-ass moon.
I'm amazed Disney hasn't sued the author of this yet.
One of the quotes is just, "This is not normal."
I like it.
This is great.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is some stuff, all right.
I just saw a chat from someone named Dawn Kathleen saying that series is some of the tamer ones.
Yeah, I did see a meme today that was like, "Guys, hear me out" will be, a girl with a lazy eye who works at the local coffee shop, and "Girls, hear me out" will be just like some inconceivable monster from another dimension with tentacles.
Yeah. Hey, Book Talk girlies, you doing okay?
No, they are not.
It's human men's fault.
Isn't
Oh God.
Sometimes, yes. We're at a chat from 8:11. We have a few left,
okay.
but they're all from after 8:10.
All right. We gave people the warning.
We did. We love y'all who gave us chats, even the ones that came in a little bit late. But
What was
unfortunately,
Elena's one you missed?
oh, that was from
The last
one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
What else we got?
I don't know where it is. We have a large amount. There's
Archie and Ella are not available for an Awu. They are not here presently.
Oh.
yes, they are not.
Also, Ella does not do the Awu. She just kind of yells at us. What is there?
Michael Elmore. Well, Michael Elmore for $5.
How much to read Ice Planet Barbarians? I see.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's one just. I'm working on a codex for a cryptid themed D&D 3-shot. Would y'all want to be listed as researchers in the codex and get a physical copy in the end?
Yeah, if you're using anything from us, we'd love that.
That'd be amazing, and I would love a copy of that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Vampire from Pluto for $10 says, I saw a theory that Stacy was accidentally scooped up by the fire planes and that the records are sealed to protect the fire department.
What did they do with her?
I don't believe there was an active wildfire at the time.
Yeah, it would have had to have been like a training mission.
Yeah, there were references to no, there was something about about fire missions. So there might have been.
It wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's happened before.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
But no, from what I understand, there are like 2,000 pages of files on that case. I don't think there would be 2,000 pages of police files if she was sucked up by a water hose.
Fair. Chimp's letting us know he's coming to Blobfest.
Nice.
Brewer for 1776. Nice. Says, speaking of dinos, has anyone seen the new Jurassic World, and if so, opinions?
I have not.
No, I
don't think I've seen one of those since 2015.
Fair. I've heard,
that's my opinion, but I'm like restarting with this one because it's a new cast.
yeah, I've heard good things. Kat really wants to go. She doesn't want to just go see it. She wants to do a Dinos night. So if we could like next
forgot
week,
Like with
about
Dino
that.
Nuggies,
yeah, with Dino Nuggies. Yeah, if we could do like a Dinos night next week,
I'd be down.
you're welcome to come.
Oh hell yeah!
But yeah, you down for a Dinos night next week?
Yeah, sure.
'Cause this week is incredibly busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to figure out. Do you know how long the report on MH17 is?
I'm gonna guess it's in triple digits.
About 283 pages.
Oh joy.
Yeah. Thankfully, I think I don't think I need to go through the whole report in detail. I think what I need to do is explain what the official position is, and then transition into the side of things where people say that it was like a false flag or that Russia was being scapegoated. Because I've been looking through it, and there's a really good Bellingcat article that basically proves Russia wasn't scapegoated. It goes through like all the different times that Russia changed their version of events. So
Fair. Wolflord Brand for $5 says, my username has official approval by the lodge. Now I can be kidnapped by Bigfoot for blood and souls, though I don't suggest eating me happily.
that
Eat you sadly.
I think that might have been the first time that sentence has ever been written.
I think you're
And
absolutely
spoken.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always enjoy that. I enjoy opportunities where somebody says something or writes something, and it is likely the first time it's ever actually been said or written.
Oh yeah.
There's just something fun about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Chimp is also saying, last one, can y'all cover Melchizedek? Melchizedek.
Ooh. Yeah, that I could probably get there.
What
It's
is
a term that appears in the Bible exactly once. Like there's one story about Melchizedek in the Bible.
Isn't Philadelphia also only in the Bible once?
What?
Well, that's a different Philadelphia, but it's actually mentioned several times.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I
There's
thought it was just in Revelation.
yeah, Melchizedek is a very interesting little blurb in the Old Testament.
Interesting.
We could probably do an episode on that.
That'd be cool. Kitsune Archer Chrono for €6, I think, says, "Hey, Milk Boys, love you guys' content from missing people to religion and mystery. Have a great rest of your days. Greetings from the Netherlands." Oh, yeah, so it is yours. Nice. Thanks. Yeah. Rude Canadian for Canadian $5 says, Canada Post is a crown corporation, meaning it isn't subsidized, but it makes so little money the employees have gone on strike twice.
So the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, it tracks.
Yeah. Currently, the Philadelphia sanitation
Oh, yes.
workers are on strike.
I will say, it does seem that most of the commenters on the TikToks I've seen about that do
Mhm.
not understand the difference between one person getting a raise versus an entire union getting a raise.
Yeah.
I
will say the mayor of Philadelphia does not deserve to be making $250,000.
No, definitely not. I mean, like, I'm with the
That should not be a position that pays more than we get paid.
yeah. I'm with the sanitation department on this. They definitely should be getting paid enough to be able to live in the city that they're working in.
Yeah.
But we also have to recognize what are reasonable demands. I think what their demands are reasonable.
Honestly, they should probably be getting paid more than they're demanding. I would think,
I
like,
agree.
like for trash truck people, I would say $70K a year is more than fair, and they're only getting 50.
Exactly, and that's some of the higher paid ones. Some are
Yeah.
only making 35.
Which, like, yeah, if you're that kind of job deserves that's the kind of job we should be paying a lot more money for to encourage people to want to do it, because it's a very necessary job.
Yes, just the main thing
yeah.
I'm trying to say is don't use her salary as a justification for that or her salary raise. It should just be, hey, these people deserve to be paid well.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're paying welders like $150 an hour,
Yeah.
sanitation people deserve
Good amount.
at least close to that. Lost Hiker for $1.99 says, Aiden, show me your feet.
Which one?
Probably you.
No.
I got monkey feet.
I got flat feet.
Me too.
Ah, nice. None of us have desirable feet. You don't want to see this.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we haven't seen the intern's feet, and we're probably gonna.
Yeah,
keep it
we
that
should
way.
we should clarify that. I see her toes currently,
All right. Well,
but
I'm not gonna.
I could tell you that they're not desirable.
Okay.
And I will. They're not.
okay. Moving along.
That's good enough for me. Squintin for $2 says FedEx is the worst. You're absolutely right. Local legends Bert Moran has
Oh, hey,
been a member
Bert.
for 13 months. Hey, Bert.
Woo!
And that's it. Bert,
Woo!
finish this out.
Hell yeah! All right, now I can go eat balls of meat.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Gotta get one in before you
And
close
put them
out.
in some buns.
None of it is helping.
Some sort of innuendo about mozzarella.
Squishy.
All right, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank
I'm Aiden Madison. Thanks for stopping by the Lore Lodge.